Hello, good morning, love wrestling. It's Thursday, it is 9 a.m. That means we are here for some Firmly Inc. this morning, and we got a lot to talk about. A lot. It was a big weekend in pro wrestling. It was a big weekend for AEW, Double or Nothing pay-per-view on Sunday, and obviously Dynamite last night. WWE also had themselves a large weekend. We had Saturday night's main event. We had a tremendous NXT Battleground on Sunday. We had a good Raw. A lot of stuff went down on the NXT television show that's going to impact the main roster of Raw, it looks like, very shortly and very soon. So there's just a lot going on. It was a major weekend of pro wrestling. And we are here to break it all down today on Firmly Inc. I am happy to be back. I knew that Drew had to do a little solo reigns of the show last week because I had some schedule changes, kind of short, whatever that means, not enough notice, kind of short notice schedule changes. But I'm glad to be back. I am here. Scott's here. David's here in the chat. Drew. First and foremost, everyone. How we doing, man?
We're tired, but we're here. And shoot job got a little crazier for me this week as well, as I told you right before we went live. So I've been up late hours and early mornings. And actually, I forgot to mention there will be a day coming up soon where I will not be here in the morning.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that because I have about 2 out of the next 4 days where I'm not going to be here. So, they don't give a shit about my life. They don't give a shit about my life. But anyway.
Jobs, everybody. They suck, but, they got to pay the bills somehow.
Well, it's almost like the system was rigged. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. I know where I want to start, but I don't know where you want to start. I know
Go ahead.
I know on our title here, I know it's WWE first, but I think for me, WWE is a distant second for what went on this weekend. I thought AEW had one of the best pay-per-views they've ever put on. Period. End of story. And Double or Nothing. And I thought they followed it up with the best wrestling show of the week so far last night in Dynamite.
Morning,
Tom, how we doing, my bud?
Or afternoon, I guess, now for you.
Yeah, technically afternoon for you, but we're the ones that matter here, so it's morning. No, I'm kidding. But Tom, we love you. Hope you're doing well, friend. So for me, I would like to start with AEW because I just think,
sure,
and I know we don't do this. We don't pick, what had a better week? Yeah. I know that when we do this, we're like, what had a better week? And we start that way. We don't really attack it that way. But for me, I thought, I don't know how you feel, but I thought Double or Nothing was tremendous.
All right. So I will say in the moment, after watching the whole show, the main event saved it for me. And now when I say it saved it for me,
saved it,
I don't mean that it was bad by any means. I did not I did not dislike Double or Nothing,
I would hope.
but I will say that the very predictable finishes, or winners rather, I should say, of most of the matches, it did kind of hinder it for me a little bit.
Wow. All right. That's good to know. We're going to have some disagreements here because I thought this was.
But again, I'm not saying that because I thought it was bad. I'm just saying that I wasn't singing its praises like I saw a lot of people doing.
All right. That's good to know. I thought it was one of the best shows they've ever put on. Ever. It was tremendous.
I saw the All Out 2021 comparisons.
Well, I'm not going to go that
everywhere.
crazy. I'm not going to go that crazy. But I thought it was right up there. I didn't think there was a missed beat on the show. I thought from start to finish, every match delivered. I thought a lot of the matches over-delivered. And then, Anarchy in the Arena is just...
That was incredible.
It might be the best stipulation going in professional wrestling right now. Because they do these matches once a year, and it's just, there hasn't, and this might have been, there's just hasn't been a match, an Anarchy in the Arena match that I don't think was a great time. And this one was
This one topped it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And, so listen, I thought the show started off with a great opener. We opened with the women's final in the Owens tournament, in the Owen Hart tournament. It was Mercedes Moné and it was Jamie Hayter. I had picked Jamie Hayter to win this match. And again, after what we saw to end Dynamite last night, and going into it, I picked Jamie Hayter, but I was openly saying that I knew the biggest match that they had that they could do was Mercedes and Tony. That was the biggest match they could do.
Yeah.
I was just of the belief that it was a good opportunity to get Mercedes her first loss because it's in a tournament. It doesn't really affect shit. And secondly, you can get two really big. You might not get your biggest match out of it, but you can get two really big matches if Mercedes loses, because Jamie Hayter and Tony with their backstory would be a big match. And then you could do Athena and Mercedes again. And that's a second big match. So I was more of 2 for 1, man. And then you can do Mercedes and Tony at All Out or Wrestle Dream or whenever you want to do it quickly right after that. However, I will say, obviously, everyone knows I'm a Mercedes guy. Love Mercedes. After that promo last night to end the show, I'm more than okay to be wrong. I'm more than okay to be wrong. And we'll get to that when we get to that. But I thought there was some good business on Dynamite last night. But they had
you could even say.
Yeah. They had a tremendous opener, her and Hayter. It was really, really good. Jamie Hayter looked awesome. Mercedes looked as good as we know her to be.
Yeah, I love the match.
Oh, the match was really good. The match was really good.
I was also hoping that it would be Jamie. But I think now, from what you said, because what we had also been talking about was, it would make sense for them to do Jamie and Tony so that they could also do Mercedes and Athena.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like that's not in Tony Khan's plans. So, which baffles me, because I thought that would be like a slam dunk type of a match to have. But
yeah, but to a lot of people, Mercedes and Tony is a slam dunk, to a lot of people. And again, I'm not saying that it's not going to be.
Slam dunk.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, it's Mercedes right now gets hate from everywhere, and it's stupid because she's legitimately one of the best right now. Yeah. She's got the top title for 2 other promotions. She's got the TBS title. Now she's got 4 belts again because she's got the Owen title. So she's 4 belts Monet once again. But it's, Ring of Honor doesn't get the love it should because it's, well, frankly, not booked well. That's the common criticism of it, and a lot of friends of ours in the space watch Ring of Honor still loyally, and God bless them.
Mhm.
They're always the first ones complaining. Well, it's a Ring of Honor title, so clearly it's not going to be defended on Ring of Honor TV. It's going to be defended on AEW TV, and the champions are going to be on AEW TV, not Ring of Honor TV, which we saw at Double or Nothing, for example. So, it's foolish, I guess, until we actually see something come of Ring of Honor, aside from what it is now.
Yeah.
It was foolish of us to expect that Athena would have any involvement here.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I didn't think she would. Listen, I thought Hayter was going to win the match, but I didn't necessarily think, like Scott, I understand that she doesn't work there. So why would she be there? Like you're saying, oh, she was at home and not even in the building. Yeah, she doesn't work for AEW. Wasn't booked on the show. Doesn't work there. So why are we why would she be there? You know what I mean? So like again,
I can understand why people think that she would be there, considering that, like I just said, AEW and Ring of Honor champion. Well, I'm sorry.
But she's consistently been the champion that is
Well,
not
she has.
on AEW.
Yes, that is correct. However, sometimes, and AEW has been, WWE too, but AEW has been privy to doing this as of late, where they kind of make you think that something could potentially happen based on the way that they've booked the show, and then they just don't do it. So, like, because, and
Whose
again,
fault?
this
Whose fault
wasn't
is
just
that?
like with the Shane McMahon Death Riders thing.
That was not AEW's fault.
It wasn't, that specifically was not AEW's fault.
I don't think any of these are AEW's fault. I think these are fans' fault. And then they yell at AEW like it's their fault, even though you're the one that created it in your brain. But go ahead, finish your thought. Blame the company instead of our stupid brains that go from one thing to the other.
I'm not blaming the company directly. I'm not blaming them directly.
Fernando, no, it wasn't. But it's okay. After last night, look, I'm not upset. After last night, that was a great promo, but that was not the right decision. The better decision was Jamie. But I digress.
Absolutely. But the fact that All In is in Texas, right where she's from, she already has a history with Mercedes. They had a really, really good match for the opening of this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Boston, right? I believe that was the first match.
Sure was.
I was like, okay, so they're doing this in Boston and Mercedes' hometown. Now they can do something in Athena's hometown at All In and have a big match for the TBS championship. Or maybe a double, if she was still, which she is, the Ring of Honor champion, then 900 days, by the way, very impressive. It's but obviously it is on the fan more than it is on the company for thinking that. I don't disagree with you there.
Yes.
But it's because of the way that opening match was booked. You would think, oh, okay, so Mercedes just got that win. It wasn't like 1, 2, 3, both are laid out on the mat. They got that 1, 2, 3, and and Athena did that like 3.1 kick out. It looked like something was going to come of that.
Yeah,
and nothing came of that. So,
I mean, it's kind of how Mercedes won this match with Jamie Hayter. Just kind of how Mercedes wins a lot of her matches when you think about it. Because this match with Hayter was an excellent match. It was over 21 minutes long. It was one of the best matches on the show. It was a great opener. And Hayter wasn't in control for a lot of it, but like if you watch the match, like Hayter was the one that got more offense in, and Mercedes kind of I think it was supposed to be a roll-up, but somehow Hayter ended up getting spiked on her head, which made it look even cooler. In the end, it looked scary, but cooler. But that was supposed to just be a roll-up small package victory for Mercedes again. Like, that's what that was supposed to be. It was a hard-fought battle where Mercedes looked like she was going to lose, and she gets a small package victory. Like, that's how that was supposed to go. It just went the way that I don't know if it was planned to do that type of like spike DDT into a small package, or it was just a mistiming of angles or whatever. But this was supposed to be another Mercedes match where it's really, really good. It's back and forth. She looks like she's going to lose, and she sneaks another win.
Yeah.
And that's how this was going to be. Because that's how they've been booking her matches. They did it, like you just said, with Athena. They did it on Sunday with Jamie Hayter. Yeah, I don't know. And Fernando, I get it. And I said it before you popped in. I said, I understand. I said going in that was the biggest match they had, but biggest doesn't always mean best. And I was like, you could have two really big matches. Again, we're there. I thought the promo to end the show last night was excellent. I'm not upset about this. It's going to be very good.
There is, and when we get to this, there is, I think, potential for there to be another big women's match.
Oh, yeah, there definitely will be. There definitely will be. But that was the show and how it opened. Mercedes winning the Owen on the women's side of things. We then had FTR continue their mean streak against Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Just ruthless from FTR. Really just mocking Nigel, mocking Tony. They were just dicks in this match. Just huge, like just jerks in this match. This match was long. I expected it to not. I felt like it was very one-sided, even though it was so long. Like I know Nigel and Daniel Garcia got stuff in, but it felt like to me that FTR dominated 80% of this match.
Yeah. And I think that was because Nigel was, I feel, more in the match than Daniel Garcia was.
Yo, for sure. Nigel was the guy that was getting his ass kicked the whole time, and Daniel was like gonna be the hot tag guy. But Nigel took a beating in this match. And Stokely tried to get involved a few times. Matt Menard was kind of out there to kind of cancel him out and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, FTR does get the victory, and they kind of continue this hot streak and this really, really vicious heel turn that they got going on. So that happened. We then had ourselves a stretcher match in which saw Ricochet defeat Mark Briscoe. This match ruled. Mark Briscoe, again, I say it every time.
The stipulation matches and the main event were really my favorite matches of this.
Oh, yeah. Paper. I mean, there's a match and a couple matches that I thought was, up until Anarchy in the Arena, I thought was the best match on the show. But we'll get there. But I agree with you. You hear stretcher match and you're kind of like, all right, that's kind of hokey. You got to put him in the ambulance and blah, blah. But these two guys made it work. Mark Briscoe was bleeding everywhere in this match. And listen, and I'm going to say it when we talk about Dynamite right after this. When Mark Briscoe is on my television screen, Drew, I have a great time. I have a great time every time. Every time. I can't remember a time that Mark Briscoe has been on my television screen and I've thought, man, this kind of stinks. This kind of stinks. Because it never happens. And you know how we talk about Ricochet. We've been talking Ricochet's praises for the last couple months here. Tight spot, what's going on all around the ballpark. Are you a baseball podcast, bro? Oh. Around the ballpark podcast, welcome in. Yeah, this was really good. It was violent. It was what you expect. But what we all expected was Ricochet getting the victory. And Ricochet did get the victory by putting Mark Briscoe in the ambulance. But I thought a good, fun, entertaining match, especially after kind of the slower, more vicious angle match of the FTR one before it. With that, we don't have to talk much about this match besides the MJF part of it if you want, but Hurt Syndicate defeated the Sons of Texas to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It was just another pay-per-view with another meaningless match for the Hurt Syndicate. Good to see Sammy Guevara. I like Sammy Guevara. I like Dustin. as well. Sorry, these teams that they're throwing at the Hurt Syndicate are not teams that are good enough to be fighting the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW tag team titles. It's been 3 or 4 months in a row. I don't know if this is building. Hell yeah, thank you. I'm a big baseball guy, so I talk baseball on my own channel
What
a
is
lot.
haunt? Oh, I guess Halloween.
Haunt season. Yeah.
I'm guessing this means Halloween stuff.
Yeah, I would guess.
Okay. Cool.
What other season would be haunt season?
Well, it didn't click with me at first.
I think so. I would think
maybe
spooky,
a horror.
I mean, good if he's
cool.
if they said spooky season, maybe would that have helped you more?
That would have probably made it.
That would have helped you more.
It's kind of like known as spooky season.
Yeah.
More, but I get it. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, you came to the right place, my man. We got a lot of good content on this channel. Thursdays, particularly, is a really good day because I'm on it twice, and I'm clearly the best. So I do Firmly Inc. with my pal here, right here every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, I do Between Two Beards. Just saying. So Thursdays is a good day to be around. Thursdays is a good day to be around. But every day is a good day to be around here at Love Wrestling. We got a whole group of people, except Lawrence. He's all right. But anyway, I digress. I got to keep that rivalry going with Lawrence. Football season. The OTAs have been this week. It's already starting. Anyway,
he's an Eagles guy, right?
Yeah, just disgusting is what he is. Disgusting. Very easy. He's from Montreal. It's not like he grew up an Eagles fan. He just said, "Oh, what team's good? Oh, I like them." Get out of here. I don't got time for people like that. You got to sit through the misery. All right? You're not a real fan if you don't sit through the misery of your team. All right? I had 20 good years. Guess what? The last 5, misery. I throw up every time I watch the Boston Red Sox play a baseball game. Throw up. Yesterday, wanted to break every window in my house. Scott, you're even worse because you're from New England and you root for Philly. You're even worse than Lawrence. Sorry. You're disgusting. You're from New England that had the best team of all time, and you still chose to root for a trash bag team like the Eagles, and they're terrible fans. All right, that's enough. Well, I'll wait till football season. Anyway, see another. I don't know if you're from there, Fernando, or now you're just clinging to them because they're a win away. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Anyway. I told you the Knicks were trash. So, Hurt Syndicate beats.
I just have the song. I'm not going to play it, but I have the song going in my head right now.
I'm not even angry. I am angry about the Boston Red Sox because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But I will probably talk about that on Beards tonight more. It's embarrassing. But anyway, Hurt Syndicate, they win. Great. All right, cool. I thought this next match, up until we got to Anarchy in the Arena, I thought this next match was the best match of the night with Kazuchika Okada and Speedball Mike Bailey. I thought that this match was tremendous. Okada had his working boots on. That is not true, Scott. Stop it. Stop that.
Oh, I do.
That is not true. That's fair. Fernando, that's fair. That's fair. However, you can't say go Pacers like you're part of you. No, that's not how it works. I root for the Yankees to lose all the time, but I don't root for the other team. I don't root for the other team because I only root for one team. Anyway.
I would not call him that, Dan.
But, You can,
if you
maybe as like a knowledge of wrestling goes, maybe, but as a person, no. But yeah, I thought Okada and Speedball was incredible. I thought this was really good. I thought this was Okada's best match in a long while. Okada had his working boots on. Speedball is tremendous. And I thought this was really good. Obviously, we knew Okada was going to win, but still, I thought as far as a match goes, I thought, to me, up until this point, this was the match of the night so far. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I love Speedball. He is just been a breath of fresh air here. And I mean, because listen, we all know AEW really is way more of one particular style of wrestling.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's worry with Speedball going there was that he was just going to blend in, not really do much of note. But he's been on TV. Him, Kevin
Hmm.
Knight, Josh Alexander, these three in particular have been on TV and pay-per-view
Mm.
weekly since debuting. And I think it has shot a really great dose of freshness
Hmm.
into the shows because, the standard, the obvious criticism that AEW would get a lot is, oh, hey, here's a new signing. 3 weeks later, now we barely see them again. It's
Hmm.
happened with other people. It has happened. It's not like you can't say it hasn't happened with people with Deanna Purrazzo. But uh, it did not happen with these three gentlemen. Nor would I even say Megan Bain for the most part.
Hmm.
Um, and it's wonderful because Megan is a shot in the arm to the women's division, and Josh, Speedball, and Kevin have been just a delight to watch every week.
Hmm.
As somebody who had not really seen much of anything of them before they got signed to AEW, it's been a genuine joy to watch. So,
It really has.
and consistently in some of the best matches of any card Speedball has in particular. No difference here with Okada.
100%. 100%. Oh, we got the Hive. We got our pal
Hello,
Josh in the
Josh.
Hive popping in saying hello. Hello, friend. Hope you are well today. The Hive is starting soon. Next week.
Next week.
Next week. It's a big week. It's a big week. Um, yeah, I agree with Speedball, and we'll talk about him very shortly because he was a part of the funnest match on Dynamite, I thought. So we'll talk about him again in a second. But I thought he brought the best out of Okada here. I thought he brought the best out of Okada, and we obviously know where Okada is lining up. We've been saying it for a while. We know that it's him and Omega at All In. We think to unify those two belts, and we think if you know the history of those two gentlemen, you know that could potentially be one of the best matches in AEW history. So,
Yeah.
that's where we're heading. So then we had the timeless one, Toni Storm, defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Mina Shirakawa. And these two had a good one. You could tell they're great opponents for each other. You could tell they're very comfortable with each other. They've wrestled before.
Oh, you can tell they're comfortable with each
Oh,
other.
baby. But no, this was a really good match. Again, this was another match that you knew Mina wasn't going to win. All right. You knew that Toni was going to retain, obviously. But I thought even knowing
Just
that
like
they
I
went
knew
out.
the Sons of Texas weren't going to win. Just like I knew Speedball wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Just like I knew Mark Briscoe wasn't going to win.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
It's going down the line.
Yeah. But I thought this was a good title match, a nice little, a good win for Toni, seeing what we saw earlier in the opener and knowing that Mercedes was next in line. Yeah, I thought all in all, this was a good title defense. It was a hard fought battle. Mina is great. I'm glad she's over here now and signed and here with AEW officially. I think she brings a lot to the table. The crowd pops for her. The crowd likes her. She's fun. Her dancing.
Yeah.
She's just fun, and she's good in the ring. Very good in the ring. I thought this was good, but again, very predictable. We all knew who was going to win, but I thought for a title defense, it was a solid one for Toni.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed this, and I'm gonna say again. I said it last week. It still feels a little weird to not have Mariah around for this. Just
Well,
because the three of them were so prevalent in
mhm.
the first feud
Yeah.
with Mariah and Tony, and then Mina was like doing some stuff with Mariah
Mhm.
elsewhere, and then she was doing stuff with Tony elsewhere. and it's a little weird not having Mariah around, but maybe something will come of that. Maybe she'll be. She's been posting a lot of like AEW pictures lately on social media. I don't know if that means that she's quietly resigned or if she's just getting, attention for a bidding war, or if she's already signed somewhere else. We don't know anything about it yet. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match, and like I said, they're very comfortable with each other.
Oh yeah. And they shared a kiss after the match, which was nice little moment there. The Hive saying Double or Nothing may have gotten him back in an AEW. Phenomenal show. I agree. I thought it was. Listen, you can tell me what you want to say, and you can say blah blah blah. I thought it was the best pay-per-view of any wrestling company all year. That is how I felt about Double or Nothing. So we go from that, and then we have this Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, Drew, my nipples were hard throughout. But let me tell you, when Let the Bodies Hit the Floor my nipples were not the only. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that might have been a joke.
I'm not going to say that this I'm not going to say that this is a hot take, because this isn't the level
I will
of a hot
end
take.
this show 30 minutes in if you say what if you
pretend again, because I'm saying this specifically.
If you even pretend to not understand the significance of that.
No, well, here's the thing.
We are not talking about anything else.
I'm not a wrestling fan of old.
So that has nothing to do with it, Drew.
I barely even know the song.
That's your problem. That's a you problem. That's one of the more famous. Are you kidding me?
I know that it has significance in early 2000s wrestling.
I don't even care about that. Song. I'm just talking about the song. I didn't care about the significance of it.
It's not my style. I'm just not that interested in.
Oh my God!
I will say, in the moment at Double or Nothing, it pumped me up because everybody was interested in it.
I have never been more jealous of not being at a show. I have never been more jealous of not being at a show when that happened. Never in my life. I was sitting in this chair and I was enjoying it. And I was probably like this, like, oh, yeah. And then Kenny Omega, because they did the thing where it was what music was playing for a while first? The Bucks music?
The first one was that, like, patriotic, like,
yes, because the Bucks came out as like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah, so they were doing that. Yeah, and I was just gonna say, Around the Ballpark mentioned it. Like the Anarchy in the Arena thing, the music playing throughout the match, and ECW, that was New Jack's thing. New Jack would come out for his matches, and he came out to Natural Born Killers by Ice Cube, one of the best rap songs ever. And he came out to Natural Born Killers by Ice Cube. And no matter what kind of match it was, New Jack's music was playing the whole time. And he was just beating people up with weapons and all this stuff. But it played the whole time, and it was just a vibe. The crowd was just like, yep, all right, here we go. It's fucking New Jack ruining people. And then Anarchy in the Arena started doing it. And I was like, all right, they just got the music going the whole time. It's chaos. This is real good stuff. And then I agree, Dan. I agree.
You don't
have to like that type of music to know that song. You don't have to. I don't care. You don't have to like that type of music. That is for the new metal era of music, that is like a pinnacle.
But I'm not into new metal.
That's fine, but it's not even that song was like whatever. Anyway, so they're doing that, and then, the Young Bucks are dressed up as like Hamilton, basically, like the old, the old, founding fathers and that type of garb. And so they're playing the patriotic music, and then we get the Pointer Sisters because Tony's like, I bought this shit and I did it for 2 weeks on
I
Dynamite, and
thought
everyone
that was
hated it.
funny. I
Yes,
was
I did
actually
too.
I was
I like
fine
that too.
with
Yeah.
that being the song because of the
Now we know where
reaction
Drew's
from
headed. He
Swerve
was okay.
and Kenny
Yeah.
was so
Yeah. No.
funny. They're
I
like,
thought,
all right, fine.
and I thought that was fun. And I was like, all right, you got to go. I'm so excited this whole time. I'm in on it. Fine. And then Kenny grabs the mic and he goes, this doesn't fit the vibe. He goes, how about some early 2000s rock or whatever he said.
Now,
And
when he
like,
said that, did you know that the song was coming?
No. I thought it was going to be the Sum 41 song, to be honest with you, that they do for Dynamite. I thought that's what they were going to do because I was like, oh, they just did Pointer Sisters. Now they're going to, and that's where I thought we were going. But then you kind of heard,
that's my jam.
And then you kind of heard the whispering, and it was, let the body. But my thing is, they kind of pan out, and you saw the crowd, and the crowd started, like, once they heard, like, oh shit, this is bodies. Like, the crowd started like bobbing up and down, like they were. I was like, oh my god, like I can't even imagine what it is like in that arena. I almost ripped my shirt Hulk Hogan style sitting here. Just ripped it off. And I know he's a piece of shit, but that's what I did. That's what I did. That's how excited I was like that, and I went, oh hell yeah, and I was just in it. I was woo, like it was crazy.
Now my favorite thing too that because I think they did this at last year's Anarchy in the Arena too, is they're playing the music and they're playing the music, and then I think also last year somebody got thrown into a speaker and then the music stopped.
Yeah, I think that's been a thing the last couple
I
of years.
like that touch. That's like, okay, we've heard the song 5 times now in a row.
Yeah.
It's time to end it.
Well,
so
they can
end
do
it in this funny, interesting, unique way.
They could have done a better job of like creating like a more so they have the body.
I think this was the first year they did that 4-screen.
Yeah, they did the quad box. Yeah, the quad box, which was nice.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That was a nice little touch. So for me, right, like all they needed to do was, if you're going to use the song Bodies, right, at the beginning, he does that little whisper part where he's like, let the bodies hit the floor. And then the song kicks, and then it goes into the song. After you do that the first time, just put the song on a loop so he doesn't do the first part anymore. Because the song would stop, and then there'd be like then it would be like a 2-second pause, and then there would be the whisper part again. I was like, okay, do that at the beginning, and then you should just have it on a loop where instead of doing the whisper part at the beginning, it just screams again, and then it just goes into and then we just continuously,
because it's like a 10-second like quiet time where,
and then he's whispering and you can't hear.
I guess. Oh, okay. I guess that that was the last time they're gonna buy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They did it like 5 straight times.
Dan, the audience's reaction, like most of our reactions, not named Drew, when we heard Bodies, was just, it was the reaction we were supposed to have when you heard that, because that made, to me, I'm going to be honest, the match was great anyway, and there was just chaos everywhere. But when that song hit, that made the match. That made the match. That song. It made the match. And it was tremendous.
What I loved listen, as much as it's not my type of a song, the way that it made the crowd react was amazing. So I was into it.
My God. So
I'm not into new metal, but I was into it for this match specifically because it really added to.
You're not a System of a Down guy?
No.
Come on.
I'm sure I know a song of theirs, but
I would hope.
Give me one. Give me a popular song. Not like the Bodies song, but like something else.
Chop Suey by System of a Down. Wake up!
I don't.
Grandma should put a little makeup. You know that one?
I've probably
Linkin Park. You don't know Linkin Park?
Oh yeah, I know Linkin Park.
They're new metal. Not anymore. Not anymore. But like with the first 2 or 3 albums when they first got, that was new metal. They were before Disturbed.
Okay, well, I know that because of wrestling.
But they were new metal. Saliva, another wrestling. Limp Bizkit, Korn. You know Saliva. They do Batista's song. Click, click, boom. They do that song too. Click, click,
Oh,
boom.
okay. So
Saliva.
I know some new metal stuff, but it's not.
Yes, everybody does.
But I'm not like. That's not what I seek out when I'm in a
That's
music
fine.
mood.
That's fine. Bodies is come on. But anyway, this whole match was nuts. Longest match on the show, as you would. Well, actually, second longest, actually, because the main event beat him by a minute. But this was tremendous. Back and forth. I did like the quad box stuff. I liked how the women, which we kind of talked about, they weren't just beating each other up the whole time. The women were very much involved in beating up the men. So it wasn't so much like a mixed it was basically like intergender for the most part because the women were very involved in everything that was going on, not just kind of pigeonholed to dealing with each other, which I thought was nice. Towards the end of the match, we do see Gabe Kidd appear, and he turns the tides for the Death Riders. And I knew once Gabe Kidd came out, I know I was one of them. I didn't know where your head was at, Drew, but I like many were like, oh, please God, Eddie Kingston. Please God, let it be Eddie Kingston that neutralizes
I really thought that
this
was
man.
happening.
Yeah, but it was Mark Briscoe, which again I still thought was cool. I still thought it was cool with Mark Briscoe. He comes out.
I thought it was a bit weird that after he loses the stretcher match, I did think that
comes out of he came out of the ambulance though. I thought that was a nice touch. He was still in the ambulance.
That makes me think that Eddie was planned for this spot.
Could have been.
But he wasn't ready yet. So they were like, all right, let's just go with Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, maybe.
Which was fine, and it played into Dynamite last night also.
Yes. And Mark Briscoe still being in the ambulance when they start to make their way and start to use the ambulance, I thought was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Willow doctor bombing Moxley was an awesome spot in the match. It was
the staple gun and Swerve are peanut butter and jelly.
People are getting stapled in the penis. They're getting stapled in the tongue, which I didn't even know you could staple your tongue. I didn't know if it was that proper quality that you could do that.
Yeah, look at that. We all learned something.
But holy shit, man. And I loved how when they were doing the staple thing with Swerve, he's stapling the Bucks kind of regularly, and then the people were running by him, and he was kind of like drive-bying them, like he was playing it cool and just poop, like it was just kind of like it was like an action movie, just like shooting dudes left and right. It was badass.
Completely agree around the ballpark. Completely agree.
Yeah. Well,
nice for Mark to get a win.
It was. But yes, the good guys, Team AEW, get the win here. Swerve and friends.
First babyface team to win Anarchy in the Arena.
Yep. And I thought it was actually the right move. This was a lot of fun. Again, they only do these matches once a year, but name a better stipulation in pro wrestling than this match right now. These matches are incredible. Every year we sit here after Double or Nothing, and we're like, man, this Anarchy in the Arena match was just good stuff, man. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. A really good time. Then we kind of had the cool down, everybody take a breath match where the Callis family defeated Paragon as they're kind of leaning into TNT title. Well, I think this helped some TNT title picture stuff, which we'll talk about when we get into Dynamite right after this, and kind of where they're going with that. But this was definitely a match where it was, again, not a bad match by any means. But this was a match where it was like, okay, we need everyone to calm down from Anarchy in the Arena, take a breath, go to the bathroom, go kind of just relax for a minute, because the main event, you're going to be up at it again, But the Don Callis family gets a big victory there. And then we had the main event, the finals of the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. It was Hangman Adam Page. It was Will Ospreay. Drew, this was a fantastic main event. Fantastic.
Tears came out of these eyes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you talk about it. Fantastic.
I think that this maybe is the match of the year for me. as of this current moment, that's the match of the year.
I can't fault you.
It was everything beautiful about professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I tweeted it maybe 100 times that night. I wish every single wrestling match made me feel that way.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
store.
I agree.
Oh, I'm getting infiltrated.
Oh god, the cat. Are they coming? They coming for the attack?
They've been using my chair lately to jump up on the dresser behind me. So,
yep. Fair.
We'll see. You may see a cat in a moment. But yeah, first of all, the graphics and the whole look of the arena during this match,
the lighting was different, wasn't it?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like there was like a giant spotlight on the ring.
So they kind of
had that vibe. This. Yeah.
I've seen it before. I think maybe at like a Grand Slam or some show that I went to. And maybe it was World's End. The MJ. Yes, it was. It was the MJF and Samoa Joe match.
Mm-hmm.
They have lights around like the ringside, the whole ringside area in a in like a rectangle, and they'd shine down these like little spotlights. It's very subtle. It's not too bright, but they dim the arena lights a little just so that it looks like this like halo almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's beautiful on TV. In person, it's not bad, but it's beautiful on TV. And I don't know, the colors of Double or Nothing, like that, the neonish colors that they had just all around the arena with that lighting, it was just a beautiful aesthetically pleasing thing to watch, honestly. Yeah. And Hangman had this beautiful gear. Just like purplish maroon navy with the sparkly stuff and the tassel in the back. It was it was stunning. It was absolutely beautiful. This was everything I wanted it to be. And at some point I was just like gave in and was like, all right, Will's gonna win. I'll be happy. I guess, but I was not going to be as happy as what actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about Hangman, and I came in. I never wavered that Will was losing. This whole tournament, I was like, no, they've been building to Ospreay winning this. It feels like this has been a year's worth of Ospreay build to get to this moment to him to win the title at All In. Like this is, and I never wavered that he was going to lose. Even with the momentum that Hangman, I'd never wavered. And I was happy I was wrong because Hangman's my guy. Like he's many people's guy. He's the main character. He's my guy. And I don't know how early you want to talk about it, but I already see people basically saying that they think he's going to beat Moxley at All In, and I don't think he's gonna.
No, don't say that. No,
but
no, I don't want to hear
time.
This.
I don't want to. Listen. We have 7 weeks. We have 7 weeks.
No. Okay.
He's not winning.
This is. I am just going to warn you now.
Yeah.
We're probably going to do. We haven't been doing it for the last couple of pay-per-views. We've been very tired. We have work the next day. We're probably going to do a post show for All In. I'm going to say most likely we're going to do a post show for All In.
Well, I don't know. Not if apparently WWE doesn't want us to because they want to do wrestling at the same time and all day.
Fuck
and all day that day.
So I'm focusing on All In that weekend and nothing else. I'll watch the rest of the stuff later.
Scott just said it. But
no. He's coming back to help. He's coming back to help Hangman win.
He is. And then Hangman will still lose. And then he will be the guy that goes, oh, okay.
We're going to probably do a post show for All In.
Correct. Maybe.
Only All In, because I ain't doing any of the other crap. Nothing against Evolution. Very happy about that. But if Hangman does not win,
everyone record this.
I
record this now.
I don't know what's going to come of Drew Nicholas and AEW programming. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because I am ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't happen, I may break.
I think we will be fine because AEW has been really, really good for a little while here. The last 3 to 5 months have been some spectacular stuff going on in AEW.
Now, last week, I don't know if you saw any of my ranting on.
Unfortunately, I popped in to say hello in the chat because I wanted to, but I had to work all day, so I didn't see a thing. I'm going to be honest with you. Due to work, I didn't see Saturday night's main event until 2 hours before Dynamite last night. So that's how far behind I have been on certain things. Could have just not watched it. But, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
The crazy thing about Tony Khan is that I will say, mostly to his benefit, sometimes a detriment, but mostly to his benefit, listens to the crowd. Mina I mentioned this last week. Mina Shirakawa came out to a completely different song on Dynamite 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Everyone shat all over that shit. All over it. Match ended, old song was back.
Yeah.
That's what Tony Khan does. So
not when Tony Khan has a story in mind, though. If he has a story, he follows the story. And the story, sorry guys, even though I'm a Hangman guy, the story is and was and still is Darby's story. Jon Moxley never becomes the AEW World Champion if he doesn't gaslight and bully Darby Allin until putting the title match on the line. Now, I understand Darby went, and congrats to him. He actually ascended, Mount Everest. And he did it. He completed it. I assume he's on his way down now, hopefully safely. Congrats to him. I know that was a life goal of his, and he did it, and that's awesome. So congrats to him. But this story started because Moxley fucked with Darby. And we would not be where we are right now if Darby didn't put that championship match on the line because Moxley bullied him into doing so. Now, plans change. It's wrestling. Things pivot all the time. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I definitely think Hangman isn't winning because I don't know for sure. But I happen to think that the Bucks might screw Hangman in that match.
No.
I don't think ballpark. I don't think you make Hangman a heel. He was already a heel. This babyface organic turn into the babyface that he's become now. I think you roll with that for a while. If anything,
there's the Darby Death Rider story. There's also the Hangman Swerve story that they're telling right now.
Yeah.
And listen, I
'Cause we
can
gotta yeah.
see I can see in Tony Khan's mind, okay, Darby, we're gonna start this thing where
Mhm,
you give up your title shot to Moxley. You have a match, you lose it. He turns heel. He forms the Death Riders. They take out Danielson, and then they take you out, and then you're gone.
mhm,
You go and climb Mount Everest, and you succeed in doing that, and you
and then when you
climb back down, and the feat of climbing Mount Everest is just as great as being on AEW television and defending AEW against the Death Riders. Tony Khan may see those two things
Sure, sure,
as the same thing.
sure.
They're not, but he may see those two things as the same thing. Uh, but it,
Hi, Ophelia,
I,
welcome in.
I just don't, I just don't think that that's a good story.
Okay.
Not that okay. Well, let me rephrase that. Not that it's not a good story. It's a good story for a movie. It's a good story for something that is not a weekly episodic wrestling television program.
Mhm,
It's a good Marvel story. It's a good DC story. It's a good, whatever good, feel good bad guy, good guy franchise there is out there.
okay,
Star Wars, whatever.
okay.
It's not good for a weekly episodic wrestling program.
It's not?
No,
So
because
a new group forms, beats up one of the biggest baby faces in the company who is on the precipice of potentially winning his first world title of all in his career. Hit him with a car, because that's the last time we saw him on AEW television, is when he was run over by a car by the Death Riders. I know we just talk about the him giving up the title match because that was the start of this story. The last time we saw Darby Allin on TV, he was run over by a car by the Death Riders. Or did he run over the Death Riders with a car? Is that what happened?
no, he rammed a car into the Death Riders pickup truck,
Yes. And then he was
then
ruined.
I think was it the last Rampage?
They threw him downstairs. What'd they do? They
They
did something to him.
they like beat him up and they threw him down a long flight of stairs.
Yeah, something
I
like
think
that.
that was the last. That was the last time he was on TV.
So I'm just saying, listen, I understand what you're saying, and I'm a Hangman guy. And at the core of it, I agree with you, and I agree with most people. I do think that Hangman should beat Moxley and bring the belt home to AEW. He's the only guy. Because to me, he is AEW, Hangman. However, we'll see. All right. So that was Double or Nothing. Because I do think the opening segment of Dynamite plays a lot into what is going to happen in that match. And I thought the opening segment of Dynamite was, no pun intended, actually pun way intended, dynamite. Because this was wonderful. So Hangman Adam Page comes out. He opens the show. He says, for the past 2 years, and he says, and if I'm being honest with you, the past 3 years have been hell. And I've lost sight of what's important to me. And he goes, and it's, and I've lost sight of what's important. Well, no, at All In, we're getting. That would, yes, at All In, I would think that would be if the Bucks are healthy. Though we heard that the Bucks got banged up in that Anarchy in the Arena match. That both of them are feeling it. So as long as they're healthy, I would think Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay is a good potential match. And then I think at All Out, it's going to be the Bucks versus Swerve and Hangman. But we'll get there when we get there. Because Drew doesn't want to hear it.
Well, no, I know what's happening,
Yes.
and somebody, I think it was, Ophelia said, or do we think Ospreay and Swerve help Hangman? I think they go to help Hangman, and then the same thing that happened when Hangman went out at Dynasty is going to happen at All In, whereas like he's there, and so So the opposite now, where Swerve comes out and Swerve sees an opportunity to attack Hangman, but is instead going to attack Moxley, and the Death Riders are going to attack Swerve. Hangman is going to be conflicted about it, like Swerve was at Dynasty. It's going to cost him the match eventually, and that's what's going to end up happening. And I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate it.
Well, again, let's see it play out. Let's wait till it gets 7 weeks. We got time. We'll see. We'll see. So Hangman comes out. He's cutting a great promo. He says it's not about winning or losing. It's about what you do with it. It's what you decide to do with it. He says, double or nothing. 2 men entered the ring, and I knew one of them would be defeated. One of us would have to lose. He does a really good job of putting over Will Ospreay. He says, Will Ospreay, I want to address you.
When we finish talking about this segment, there's something else I want to address also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He goes, thank you for the fight of my life. Thank you for reminding me why I decided to do this in the first place. And thank you for dispelling any notion that you aren't the type of guy who can carry this company moving forward, because you absolutely can. And I thought that was a real good job by Hangman right there. Really putting over Ospreay. And then he goes, and while one of us had to lose, another one had to win. And he goes, and I can't relish this. He was wearing the Owen championship around his waist. He says, I can't relish in this too much because I will never hold or defend this belt. Because next year they will have another tournament and somebody else will win it. And this is not a title that you hold and a title that you defend. And he goes, so I'm going to give this back. And he gives it back to Tony Schiavone. He goes, there you go. And then he turns to the camera and he goes, now it's time to talk about what it's always been about. And that's the AEW World Championship. He goes, the accomplishment I've chased from the first moment we saw these 3 letters together for the first time. And he goes, and for 7 months, and I know this probably tickled your fancy, Drew. He goes, for 7 months, that title has been hidden from the world, locked away in a briefcase. And he goes, and to me, that title was the shining light to show the world what these 3 letters meant. Competition, creativity, compassion, passion, and the human dignity with which we all treat each other. That was the laundry list of things. And he looks right in the camera and he says, tonight I'm making everyone a promise. In 7 weeks, right here in Texas, I'm going to win the AEW World Championship. I am going to free it from that briefcase. I am going to hold it over my head for everyone to see, and I will carry it and defend it with every ounce of my being, and that is a promise I will keep. And right as he finishes that, Swerve Strickland's music hits, and my God, I was like, here we go. Swerve comes out, he gets right in Hangman's face. And Tony Schiavone, no
Prince Nana.
Nope, just this is all business. This is all business. He gets right in Hangman's face, and Tony Schiavone's like, okay. He's like, guys, come on. Swerve then says, before we get into this, this is why I'm here. And he shows the video from the Dynamite after Dynasty when the Young Bucks were in the ring, and they said that they did what they did to Swerve for Hangman. Because Hangman, they knew that one thing Hangman wanted was Swerve to never win that title. So they did it for Hangman, and they said, we know we still love you, buddy, like you love us. Okay. So then Swerve goes, he looks at Hangman and he basically says, all right. He goes, I need to know, is this true? Like, were you behind it? Did they do it for you? Were you the person? He goes, because at Dynasty, I was right there. I was going to win the title. I was going to do what you have the opportunity to do in a couple weeks at All In. I was going to do it.
Convenient that you've got that shot now.
Correct. And then your friends came and ruined it for me, and now you are in the match at All In. So did you have anything to do with this? And Hangman calls him a dumbass, which I thought was funny. He's like, hey, dumbass. And he says, at Dynasty, I came out there and my eyes were set on you. And then my eyes got set on Jon Moxley. And I did what I did. And he goes, and if I wanted to really make sure that you didn't win, he goes, I would have looked you dead in the eyes and I would have done it myself. And then Swerve takes a few steps back. You can tell he's kind of pondering what Hangman just said. And then he just goes, yeah, you're full of shit. You're still full of shit. And they go face to face. It looks like they're about to go. And Will Ospreay's music hits. And these three get in the ring. And in that moment, Drew, I saw those three guys and I was like, we used to have this pillar business that they used to talk about. These three guys right here, this is the foundation of AEW to me.
Absolutely.
These three guys. Moving forward, those are the guys. And I think the crowd started chanting like everyone could tell, like, these are the guys. And I think this is what the fans have wanted when it comes to Death Rider stuff, is like these guys getting together. And that's what Ospreay's trying to do in this promo, right? Like that is what Ospreay is trying to do. Ospreay is trying to convince Swerve, hey, I know you have a history with this guy. I thought some of the same shit that you did. I would say MJF you could throw in there as the fourth guy. Yeah, they're probably the four guys you
but
build
there's
around.
Also the guy that's supposedly going to be winning the championship from Moxley also.
Listen, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to have. Not a bad thing to have.
Five pillars now.
Hey, whatever. I'm good with it. So Ospreay's like, hey, I know how you think about this guy. I thought about some of that stuff too, but this guy proved a lot to me on Sunday. He gave me one of the best matches of my career, and then he had a decision to make. He walked up that ramp, and he came back down, and he lifted me up, and he shook my hand in the middle of the ring like a man. And he goes, very much like how you did, Swerve, when I lost to you last year. And I thought that was a nice touch by Ospreay. And Ospreay then tells Swerve, he goes, Hangman cares about this place. He cares about this place. He goes, we have one, and he's talking in wheeze, like they're all together, like AEW. He goes, we have one shot at this and we can make it easier for him if we all work together, all three of us. And the second he says all of them working together, Swerve swats the microphone out of his hand, just knocks it right to the ground. And he goes, I'm never working with that guy ever. I'm never working with that guy, not him, ever. And Swerve leaves angrily. And Ospreay's kind of staring at him. Ospreay then turns around, and they're not on mic at this point. It's just the natural camera audio. But you can hear Ospreay say to Hangman, let me talk to him. And Hangman goes, no, not him. Never him. It's never going to be him. Never going to be him. And that's how the segment ends, with kind of Ospreay as the man in the middle. Ospreay is the guy now that's like, we need to all work together to get the belt off of Moxley. But you have these two guys that are, as of right now, because of their history, which is very justified, clearly, on both ends, never going to want to work together. I thought this was a tremendous opening segment with these three guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, Drew. Oh, man. It was perfect.
But it makes me scared for All In. But it's
you should be scared.
I know.
Because don't do what we've done so many times before and convince yourself that this is the end when it's not.
Oh.
Darby's the end. If you start to convince yourself now, two things will happen. Either Darby will be the end, and you'll know, or Hangman will actually win, and then he'll be pleasantly surprised.
I don't like that Darby gets to just swoop back in.
Well, we don't know that that's happening. That's just, we don't necessarily know that's happening. That's again, but I'm just saying.
How do you have, he's not even mentioned on television. It's like he's a ghost. He's disappeared for 7 months now. And then it'll be 9 months at that point, at July. Mm-hmm. And then he's just back, and then he's the next guy to go after Moxley. I know he got taken out by the Death Riders and everything, but I don't think that the Moxley Darby story needs a title.
Okay.
I think a title helps it. I don't know if it needs the title.
I disagree. I think the whole story started because of the title.
That's the other thing we're going to talk about in a moment, Ophelia. But I can't understand Tony being okay with. People are going to stop watching AEW after All In if Moxley wins.
I don't think so. People have been saying that for 5 months now, and people are still now. AEW is better than it's been in 2 years.
No,
even with this story,
there are people that are saying that on the biggest, you can do it at Dynasty, you can do it at Double or Nothing, you can do it at Revolution, you can do it at World.
Well, first of all, I don't think. This is a completely different argument. I don't think that match is ending the show. I think the main event of All In is going to be Tony and
well,
Mercedes.
if it's not the main event of the show,
yeah,
you can. I'll just be like,
I think that's the point.
Moxley's winning.
I think that's the point. I don't think that this match is going to main event the show, as of right now. I think there's a strong chance that in 7 weeks, by the time we get there, Mercedes and Tony can main event this show. Especially when you know there's going to be even if Darby doesn't come back, it's a Death Riders match. There's going to be fucking shenanigans. There's going to be shenanigans. But do you want to address Ophelia's thing? Because I think we are going to disagree here, to be honest with you. And now I'm not.
Oh no,
I don't care enough to like lose my mind over it, but I completely understand why some people are looking at that and going like, "What the fuck?" But
in 2025, every single person knows that wrestling is fake.
Yes.
Breaking news to somebody that didn't know that. Okay, if you happen to live under a rock and you watch wrestling in 2025, these people, some of them at least, don't actually hate each other. Some people do hate each other, but
I don't think you have to hate somebody to. Okay, so yeah, the story came out by Fightful that Hangman was pushing for Ospreay to win. Ospreay was pushing for Hangman to win, and then I don't know if this was the reason why they went the way, but then Moxley came out the report was that Moxley was pushing for Hangman to be the guy that won.
Well, they were both pushing for each other.
They were both pushing for each other, and then the report also said that Moxley was vocal for Hangman, and then obviously that was how the decision made. And then I saw some people. Yeah, we got some. You're shocking some people with the wrestling is fake thing,
right?
So
Bunny is real. That is
of course. Duh. Santa, all of it. Tooth Fairy, all real. The Rock is actually the Tooth Fairy. I don't know if you knew that. But no, was that Vin Diesel that did that movie? Was it not The Rock? That was Vin Diesel, right?
No, that was
The Rock, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So give your so when you again, because Ophelia asked, how do you feel about the internet losing their mind over it? I did see some people, but again, at the end of the day, I don't really care a lot about my thing is not. I don't think you have to hate anybody. I just look at it from like like if I'm Hangman or I'm Will Ospreay, I want to win. I know it's planned. I know it's fake, but no, I want to be the guy that goes to All In and fight for the world title. I don't want this motherfucker to do it. I want to be the guy. So like, that's the part of it that I'm just like, okay, well, like, I don't care that much about it. And I think it's like, okay, but like, you're in this business. You don't want to be the top guy. You're totally okay with them just choosing somebody else over you. I wouldn't. Now, I wouldn't do what.
That's not what the main criticism of criticism of it was, though.
I wouldn't do what the people did in the 90s, like all those guys, and step over people and take do backstage politicking and shit like that to get things to go my way. I wouldn't do that because that makes you a piece of shit. But when I hear that Hangman and Ospreay are both like, no, he should win, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You should be going to Tony and being like, no, I want to win. I should win. I should win because I want to be the guy. I want the company to be behind me and I want to be the guy.
I
So
don't think that the story. Now, I didn't read the report, but I know that I'm gonna say well, yeah, exactly. I feel you. Um, I think that
that's probably right.
probably it's not that by pushing for the other to win is I don't think I didn't at least take it to be that they are saying that they don't want to win themselves, but it could have been reported that way, but not actually you know, I'm not saying anything against Fightful's reporting because they do phenomenal
Oh no,
reporting.
no, it says
But
yeah.
I'm gonna assume that by Hangman and Osprey both pushing for each other to win the match, it didn't mean that Hangman and Osprey were also saying, "I don't want to win the match." So
Yeah.
it'd be like, oh, I could be like, yeah, I could see Hangman being like, Osprey's doing great stuff right now. I think he should get the match at All In because he's been doing really great. The crowds are really connecting with him. That's not Hangman saying, I don't want to win and I don't want to go to All In. That's just saying, hey, I see what Osprey's doing. The crowd sees how Osprey is, and he seems like a good pick. And then Osprey doing the same to Hangman. So,
Yeah.
by saying this person should win the match, I don't take that also as saying I don't want to win the match.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and I guess that's where my only angle comes from. Like, I don't care that, yeah, but they're in the main event of All In. You're of Double or Nothing. You're already succeeding. At this point, you're pushing your friends to succeed over you, and I guess that's where my thing is because I don't want anyone to succeed over me in life.
You're a selfish prick,
so. But I'm not though. I'm not a prick. I'm not a prick. I would say. You know what I mean? Like, I want us all to eat. I just want my plate to be a little bit more than yours. That's all. That's all. Doesn't mean I don't want you to not eat. Doesn't mean I don't want you to not eat next to me, Drew.
I just want you to eat less.
I just want you to know that, like, I get the big piece of chicken. You know? That's really
a little bit of a selfish prick type of a thing. But that's all right.
No.
I still love you.
No.
But
no. A selfish prick thing would be the stories we've heard in the 90s where, oh, I'm getting the big piece of chicken and everything else on the table, and you can go sit in the fucking office in the back. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody can eat at my table. Just know that when the biggest piece of the meat is cut, that's coming to me. That's all.
Well, I would call that a selfish prick. I would call the 90s a selfish asshole.
Okay. I happen to don't think I'm that way. Listen, it's a business. You are competing in the business. You should want to be the top dog. You should want to be the top dog. So yes, while I do think there was a lot of really over the top negativity about that report, which I don't think there should be negativity about that report. And again, I think it speaks to a different type of generation as well. Is I really feel like, yeah, I just feel like
the people that were complaining about it mostly were of this generation.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just a generational thing too, in general. Like, I think, it is what it is.
A prominent wrestling person in the wrestling space should not be complaining about a wrestling story coming out. If you already know the story, it's kind of crazy that you're complaining about it.
My thing is, it's not even a story. To me, it's not even a story. It's like, okay, yeah, so both the other guys said they wanted the other guy to win. I find that to be a bit weird. I would be saying like, no, I want to win. I'd be totally okay with me winning. But
there's an epidemic on wrestling Twitter right now where there's more I need to get my opinion out in a soliloquy versus fan engagement with the product. I think we've seen that, countless, the amount of and as a blue check person myself, I don't have a blue check to really put myself over. The reason why I have the blue check is because sometimes I want to type more than 280 characters.
It's fair.
I don't do it
Yeah.
often. You can
Yeah.
look at my timeline.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just don't want to be beholden to 280 characters. So maybe I'll go 350 characters. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
But there's really there's an issue lately that I'm seeing on wrestling Twitter where people are thinking more highly of their own opinions instead of just shutting the fuck up.
I mean, that's been going on for a decade.
So I this whole we have to keep kayfabe, and it's just bullshit. And I know it's like it's shitty to say wrestling is fake. It's not that wrestling is fake, because what we see on TV is real. The physical act of wrestling is 100% real. The storylines and the hatred of one wrestler to another, in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases, it's not real, people. So, nobody talks about superhero movies the way they talk about wrestling.
Mhm.
Oh, that thing shooting out of this person's wrist wasn't believable enough. Get the fuck out of here. It's fake. You take like Fernando says, wrestling is scripted, but the risks are real. Everyone knows The Undertaker ain't a dead man. Everyone knows that we are watching a television program of actors, for the most part, actors and actresses playing roles on television.
Mm.
One company decides to lean more heavily into that. One company decides to play more into the wrestling aspect of it. You pick and choose whatever you want, or you watch them both like we do. But that doesn't mean that a feel-good story coming out of a big pay-per-view should be viewed with such negativity as that. You want more selflessness in wrestling. Because, as you said, the 90s were full of bullshit assholes who only wanted to take every single piece of meat for themselves and leave everyone else in the corner with nothing. So to hear that two of the top stars in this company want to have somebody else as a top guy and not just themselves, because again, I don't take it as Will and Hangman saying, I don't want to be the top guy. I'm just taking it as, no, this guy also deserves a top spot as well, besides myself. So,
Yeah.
if you're on wrestling Twitter and you're in the wrestling media space,
we give too much time to these people every week. We talk about this way too much. Every week we go on like a 15-minute soliloquy about these people. Like, why are we giving them the time? Every week we talk about them.
Let's move on then.
No, but you know what I mean? No, but you know what I mean? Like, I think us giving them this time is what they want. This is what they want. Is it not? That's why they say the stupid shit. So it gets under our skin to the point where we're taking 15 minutes out of our show every week to say, isn't that what the goal is for them?
I guess. Well, congratulations. You got more airtime.
You spent more time talking about these people than we have about the main event of All In. I mean, Double or Nothing. No? You hate these people. With every
I don't hate one of the people that were really
negative
about
see, this is so I saw the report. I read the report. I thought, like, okay. I was like, you should be fighting for yourself to win. Not in a bad way, but you should be fighting for yourself to win, not your opponent to win. That's just, you're totally okay with being second best. No, you should want to be the best. What are you doing? But why? Who were the people that were going? Like, who were some of the people that were? I didn't see a lot of people going ham on this.
I'm not gonna.
I just saw a couple. I just saw a couple people. Like, I saw like a couple. Like, what happened to the business I love? Like, I saw a couple comments like that. I didn't see anybody going like too serious about it, but I assume there were. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
People going real serious about it.
The person that may have said that was, I think the same person that I'm thinking of.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about it, because I honestly, like, I know Ophelia asked the question and I saw a couple things, but I really didn't see like a ton about this, so I didn't know it turned into like a thing. It turned into like a thing on the social webs. But I mean, these days, what the fuck doesn't? Literally, what the fuck doesn't? But no, I want you to do your last line there. So tell the IWC where they can go. Drew.
Fuck off.
Wow. All right. The ending sequence of Dynamite I want to talk about. Another great promo segment. Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. Mercedes Moné comes out. She's talking about, like you said earlier, she has 4 belts now. Back to 4 belts because she's carrying. They showed her getting driven in on a lowrider, and she has the Owen belt way above her head. She's back to 4 belts, Mercedes. She gets in the ring. She's talking about her titles. She compares herself to Owen Hart and her idol, the late, great Eddie Guerrero. We have an Eddie chant, which was nice. And she goes, yeah, they're not as great as I am. And she goes, that's why I'm the CEO of AEW. And once she says that, Toni Storm's music hits. Toni Storm gets in the ring. Mercedes, I thought this was a great line. Mercedes says AEW fans are sick of the black and white and they want a champion full of color. And I thought that was a very good line. I thought that was a good line by Mercedes.
She said another good line too.
Oh, there's a few of them in this one by both. Because then Toni says 441 days. That's when you showed up here in AEW on a show that was named after you. She says, you've won titles, you've made history, you've remained undefeated, but you have never once spoken a word to me. You have never once even looked at me. But you've said you've watched me long before you got here. And you told Anthony Khan that this was a dream match for you. So Toni says, so I just have one question for you, darling. What took you so long? And then Mercedes responds and she says, patience. Patience. She goes, this is not about you. This is about me and my legacy. And I'm not just going to go backstage shaking hands with just anybody when I am the Beyonce of women's wrestling. She goes, don't you know who I am, Toni? I'm the standard. I'm the conversation. I'm the blueprint. I am the revolution. And then Toni, great line by Toni here. She goes, oh yeah? Well, she goes, well, I am the Toni Storm of professional wrestling. And she goes, and I swear to an unknown God that you have never met anyone like me. And then Mercedes goes, yeah, she goes, I'm different than the shy girl that you met 10 years ago. And she goes, but I'm also different because I am no longer a boss. I am a CEO. Great line. Great line. And she goes, and I've beaten the best from around the world. And she goes, that all in Texas, we are going to have the greatest women's match of all time. And then Toni leans in and she goes, we have a lot of similarities. We both started young. We both struggled on the indies. We found success. We won trophies and flowers, and we left it all behind to follow our hearts. And in AEW, we came to AEW and we became exactly who we were meant to be. Oh, tremendous from Toni. She goes, but there's just one glaring difference. She goes, while you, Mercedes, want all these titles, I only need one. And at this point, at the beginning of the promo, she laid down the AEW women's belt on the mat between them. And she points, she says, I only need one. She goes, I've lived, I've cried, I've bled, and I've died for this title. She goes, so if you want to ride the money train through the Tony tunnel, I hope you can get deep enough. And then Mercedes even chuckled a little bit at that. And then Mercedes says, your hips are not wide enough for this money train. And then Tony says, she goes, in 45 days at All In, she goes, somewhere a little girl with big dreams will watch them fight. And she's going to say, holy shit, these bitches are crazy. I love that. Holy shit, these bitches are crazy. And then she'll find out
Little
who the
kids
better
will be saying that for sure.
Yep. And then she'll find out who the better woman is. And she goes, Mercedes, I sincerely believe that you are the greatest of all time. She goes, but unfortunately for you, I happen to be timeless. Which I thought was another tremendous line by Tony. And then Mercedes says, you can call yourself timeless, but the only thing you deserve is your time to come to an end. And then they both say, we'll see you at All In. Mercedes takes a couple belts off. She offers a handshake. Tony accepts the handshake. She pulls Mercedes in. She gives her a sniff kind of up her neck and things like that. And then she kisses her on the hand. And then Mercedes tries to go for the moneymaker. Tony gets out. Tony tries to go for the Storm Zero. Mercedes gets out. Mercedes bails out to the ring area, to the barricade, and they stare at each other as Tony's music hits. And Mercedes starts doing her CEO dance on her way up the ramp. And that is how Dynamite went off the air.
Tony was trying to do it also.
Yes. And I thought it was Excalibur that pointed it out. At Double or Nothing, the women's final started the show and the men's final ended the show. And last night on Dynamite, the men's winner started Dynamite and the women's winner ended Dynamite. So it was kind of like a nice little, it was like a nice little reversal of things there. I thought that both these promos were excellent. And I thought that they were, All In is 7 weeks away, but I am already excited for the path that we are heading down when it comes to these two world title matches. And I know Moxley I know Around the Park said it earlier, Around the Ballpark. Moxley wasn't involved in that opening segment with the three of those guys. He was involved in the match right after. But at the same time, I thought these were two great promos to bookend Dynamite last night. Like really, really good stuff between them.
We don't see it very often from AEW. But when it's really impactful, like last night was, it works. Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. Some other things that happened on Dynamite before we switch over to the WWE side of things, because we got a good amount to talk about there. A great 6-person mixed tag match, the first match on the show. It was Gabe Kidd, Moxley, and Marina Shafir against Mark Briscoe, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Willow Nightingale. About as good as a straight-laced babyface trio that you could have in Mark Briscoe, Speedball, and Willow. Like, that is about babyface. I think so, Ophelia. We're going to talk about that. It looked like both her and Anna Jay got a little banged up in that match. But I thought as far as this match was bell to bell, fast-paced, really good. I wouldn't even call it a mixed match. I'd call it an intergender match because the women were beating up the men in this just like they were in Anarchy. And like it was very much everything. That's a little much for Nando. Let's relax, huh? Let's take it back a notch, huh? Let's take it back a notch. But I thought that this was really, really good. I wanted the baby faces to win. I was heavily rooting for the baby faces to win, but Mox and the Death Riders kind of getting back on the winning side of things and looking strong as we're heading into All In makes sense. Yeah. But this was a fun 6-person match. This was a blast. We had a no DQ women's tag match. It was Anna Jay and Harley Cameron against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. It was a plunder match. It was good. It looked like Harley Cameron might have broken her nose in the spot with the steel steps on the outside. It also looked like Anna Jay had to be tended to by the doctor out there as well. Yeah. But that's what happens sometimes when you have these type of matches. Is the second big women's match, I was going to mention, the second biggest women's match now that we need at All In is when we get Mercedes and Tony, because now the TBS title is going to be tied into the world title match.
Yeah.
I think the next best right now, the next best women's match would be Willow Marina.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. If they did like some sort of stipulation match or some sort of, yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I think, I don't think it's going to happen before All In, but I think we might be getting closer to AEW women's tag titles. I feel like that is something that,
Yeah, it seems like it.
yeah,
They've been
I
doing
feel
a lot
like
of
that
more
is,
tag stuff lately.
they really have. And I think you look at both of these teams, and hopefully Anna Jay and Harley are fine. But you look at two of these teams, these are two teams that you can immediately throw in that division, especially Megan Bain and Penelope. They've been making them look really strong here. They got the win here and things like that. Yeah, I thought this was good for what it was. What'd you think of the frat house?
I have to keep it
Apparently,
PG.
these have been on Ring of Honor. I don't watch Ring of Honor, but this has been a Ring of Honor thing. This was the first time that I saw them, and I was like, "Oh, this is new." But apparently, they've been kind of around.
I've seen a little bit of it on social media because I don't watch Ring of Honor. But
yeah,
yeah, I'll say quite an attractive team.
Yeah, Griff Garrison, Preston Vance, Cole Carter. And then Jack Jameson is kind of the guy that cuts the promos and is kind of, it looks like the leader, the spokesman of the group. It was good to see Preston Vance back. They showed some video of them partying with some people. Apparently they went to like an actual local establishment the night before, because when they mentioned it, the crowd popped. So it was like a known spot in El Paso that they were in. And Jack Jameson said that every town they go into, they're going to be going and looking for new members. So maybe that'll be a thing where they go, hey guys, go to a local bar and fucking ham it up. And we'll shoot some footage and whatever. Great. This was a squash match for the Ops. They handled these guys very quickly. Fine, good to go. Blah 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 blah.
There was that one thing of note that we have to figure out what's happening here is Hook came back at Double or Nothing.
Yes, he did.
But
wasn't involved in this though. Yeah, wasn't involved in this.
But was not happy with Samoa Joe. And walked out. He helped Samoa Joe, but then he also walked out on Samoa Joe. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah.
So that'll be something that we find out in the future. All right. Another big thing that happened was Renee Paquette was in the ring, and she was going to be interviewing Jamie Hayter. And Hayter gets in the ring coming off the loss at Double or Nothing, and she goes, and she's going to start talking about what is next for her. And the lights go out.
And then we find out what's happening.
Yes, the lights go out. When they come back on, Jamie Hayter is laid out on the ground, and we have the debut of Tekla. She from Stardom.
I've been saying it wrong.
I believe it's Tekla.
Because it's THE, so I thought it was Thekla.
No, I think it's Tekla. Like it's like Tekla. I believe. So she is here. She lays out Jamie Hayter's.
Yeah, they were lame, but they were hot. So whatever.
I mean, have you been to a frat house in real life? All of them are lame.
Definitely never been to one before.
Yeah, if you've ever been to like a frat party or a frat house on a college campus ever, it's all lame. It's all dudes who think they're important that aren't, but they usually throw banger parties. So it is.
Many of them are shirtless.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you be? If I had a body like any of those guys, I would not wear clothes unless I legally had to. Anyway, so the lights come back on. Jamie Hayter is laid out on the ground. Tekla is standing above her. She picks her up, and then she hits her with a real big forearm, lays her out again, and then she does like a spider walk. She does the spider walk, and then she does like really cool. Listen, here's the thing.
Oh, that spider walk twisty thing.
Yeah, that like twisty thing she did. That was cool.
I was like,
here's
the
thing.
My God. Okay.
And I feel you. I don't disagree because I'm sorry. And nobody knew who she was. They didn't respond to her because they don't know who she is. Sorry. That's not a negative towards her, but not everybody. And again, I don't think that I think she'll be fine. That Jamie Hayter is a really good person for her to feud with right out the jump. All right. She's going to be fine. She's really good from the few matches I've seen and the clips I've seen. She's going to be fine. But at the same time, I do think that this is one of those scenarios where AEW and Tony think that everybody that watches their product would know who this person is. And in the reality is a small percentage of people know who this person is. So when you give them a big debut like that, it's not going to hit because everybody in that arena, and even me watching it on TV until they said her name, I was like, who is this person? I don't, now that I'm not one of those people that's like, who? Because I'm not an idiot and I'm not an asshole.
Don't give them more time. Like, don't give them more airtime.
Exactly. But at the same time, like, I can understand why she had no reaction, because how are you going to know who like, I don't watch Stardom, so how am I going to know who this person is?
Right. Yeah.
At all. You know
I didn't know who it was at first either.
Yeah. So I felt bad for her because she didn't really get a reaction. But at the end of the day, I think she's going to be more than fun. But I do agree with you. I do think that I would have preferred if they had just had her start in a match. You know what I mean? I would have preferred that if I would have just had her start in a match. Have her have a match first, and then she can attack. Like, could have Jamie Hayter have taken this week off, and you had Tekla have a match against somebody, and she wins a match, and then next week Jamie Hayter has an in-ring promo, and the same thing happens that happened last night, and then it's like, oh, wow, Tekla, who debuted last week, just attacked her. Okay, cool. I think that is more effective than just having the debut happen the way it did last night, when a small percentage of your audience probably has a strong background of who this person is, sadly.
Yeah,
that's, it is what it is. We then had an AEW TNT championship match. It was Adam Cole and it was Kyle Fletcher. And I had written on Twitter, I said, I love Adam Cole. I said, but there is no way anyone can convince me that he has any business beating Kyle Fletcher in this match. There is no way you can convince me in that. And then I thought that the way that this match went out, and they are few and far between in AEW, Drew, but this match ended in a DQ. This match ended in a disqualification.
And it needed
because, for Adam Cole's sake, it did. Because, again, I love Adam Cole. No business beating Kyle Fletcher in this match. But it looked like he was going to towards the end of this match. And look, and for what this was a good match between these two, as you would expect. And Adam Cole looked like he was going to win, but Josh Alexander came out, attacked Adam Cole right as he was going to hit the, what's he called his move now? Something shot. But what is it? What do they call it? Either way, he hit the Panama Sunrise. He was going to go for the knee. And Josh Alexander runs in the ring, attacks Adam Cole. Kyle Fletcher looks angry at first for a split second, but then he just starts attacking Adam Cole with Josh Alexander, which led to Brody King, my man, coming down, making the save, which then led to the very next match, which was a qualifier to get into the Fatal 4-Way for the International Championship, for the number one contendership to the International Championship next week on Dynamite. It was Brody King versus Josh Alexander. And I put on Twitter again during this, I said, oh, great, another match that Brody King's going to lose.
Oh, you thought he was going to lose?
Did you thought he was going to win?
I did, actually.
You're insane. You're an insane person if you thought that. Brody King has not won a match on television in a fucking year.
Josh Alexander really hasn't won most of his matches either.
Yeah, but Josh Alexander is a new person. I thought for sure, I was like, oh, Josh Alexander getting the victory here since he just showed up. This is Brody King has been that guy. We have good matches, but he always loses. Now, again, I very rarely like to be wrong, but I was very happy that I was wrong. Fernando, I'm calling bullshit.
I didn't think. I thought Brody was going to win too.
Okay, well, I don't believe either of you. So that's fine. You can listen. I don't believe either of you because you can't tell me that you've watched a Brody King match in the last 3 months and you should believe that he's going to win anything. Because he doesn't.
When I saw that this match was happening, I was like, oh, finally, Brody's going to get a win.
That is crazy. That is a crazy rationale to me. Because
who is Josh Alexander in the Don Callis family? He's not Kyle.
Okay. He literally just got there. He's a new.
Takeshita.
Yeah, because he just got there.
Yeah,
Kyle
but
Willis.
he's lower on the as much as I've enjoyed him on TV every week, he's lower on the totem pole than the likes of Kyle and Takeshita.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't
agree.
win against Hangman. He
Well,
didn't
obviously.
win against who did he have the singles match with a week or two ago?
I don't know. Fernando just be one of the best wrestlers in the world for like the last half decade, maybe.
I know
don't know.
he was in a singles match with another person, and he lost that match too.
But what has he done? He's just been a world champion everywhere he's been, and been one of the best technical wrestlers in the world the last decade.
I think
But I mean, you know,
I'm assuming that he means in AEW. I don't know if he means
he's been
in
there a
general.
month. He's been there a month.
Okay, he did mean in AEW.
But he's been there for a month. What is he supposed to do?
Right. Because he's been there for a month, he can lose.
Yes, Brody King has been losing for 8 months. 8. Again, I'm very happy Brody King won. It's crazy to me that you guys went into a Brody King match definitely thinking he was going to win.
I did. I thought he was going to win because
me.
he was facing Josh Alexander.
Okay, that's fine, but that is insane
Why
to
is
me.
Josh Alexander going to be in a 4-way match for
because
what
he's
is
a new
for the international title?
Because he's from an international place in Canada, and he is a brand new big time signing in a company. And you would think that the new guys who you're trying to push as viable superstars, viable people, would win these type of matches. And the fact that Brody King hasn't won a match in half a year.
I didn't think it would hurt Josh Alexander to lose like it would have hurt Brody King to lose.
Again, that does not make sense to me. How can it hurt Brody King to lose when he loses everything he's in?
That's why it hurts him, because he loses everything.
It just doesn't make sense to me how you got, again, if you guys thought he was going to win, cool. But when you're sitting there saying you both definitely thought he was going to win, when we have not witnessed this guy win a match since last year, how can you definitely think anybody who hasn't won a match in half a year is going to win anything? Definitely.
Fernando, we understand each other. For some reason, JPJ, the actual fan of Brody King out of the three of us,
I am. I love
has an
that
angry reaction to this for some reason.
I'm not angry that he won. I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't think anybody in the right mind would think he would, because he never wins. But anyway, like I said, I very rarely like to be wrong, but I was happy I was wrong here because thank God Brody King won. For the love of God. Josh Alexander got, again, another match where Josh Alexander, that was another reason too. Josh Alexander was busted open here. It looked like he hurt his nose or like something to do. Like he was busted open and bleeding from the nose. Yeah. I don't know what was going on last night, but Brody King did get a big win over Josh Alexander, which was good. So he's going to be in the fatal 4-way.
I get what Scott's saying there, and I understand your thinking on that too, but it doesn't matter who's in this match because Kenny Omega's winning.
I agree. But at the end of the day, like I'm just from the mindset of like, when you've watched somebody lose every match they've been in for 4, 5, 6 months, I don't know how at any point you can say, yeah, I definitely think they're going to win this one. I definitely think they're going to win this one, even though they haven't.
Happening, and I said, Josh Alexander versus Brody King. Good for Brody King.
It's like if you're a football team and they're 0-10 and they're going on there and they're playing a game next week and you're like, you know what? I definitely think that 0-10 team's going to win this game this Sunday. What? You definitely they haven't won a game all year.
Team he's facing.
Yeah, okay. They're not also 0-10. They're about like 4-6. You would think the 4-6 team would win.
As a team, not in singles.
It's still, again, it's just crazy to me. Definitely going to win. Motherfucker hadn't won in 9 months. There's been children born since the last time he won a match. There's been children born since the last time Brody King won a match.
Well, there have been children born since yesterday.
You know what I mean.
What kind of an argument is that?
Conceived and born. All of it.
Well, that's a different
since the last time Brody King won a match on television. Get out of here. Get out of here.
And the fact that you have spent this long on this is crazy to me.
Because
The things that I spend, you get on me for talking
First of all,
about the IWC.
I didn't get on you. I listen, I get on Pluggo the same. You guys let the IWC in your head. You let them in your head.
What's going on with you right now? I'm telling you that I thought your guy was definitely winning, and you're fucking shouting at me for 7 minutes.
And I'm telling you that I don't believe you. That's what I'm telling you.
Why wouldn't you believe me?
Because nobody should definitely think a guy who hasn't won in a year is going to win anything. That's not the way to go through life.
That of your
That's
own
not the way to
wrestler.
go through life. Look at what's in front of you. Anyway,
the fact that you're saying that about the guy that you have said
you
dressed up for on our Halloween show is one of your favorite wrestlers.
It's not
of all
true.
Time.
I don't believe the AEW website. Not true. Those haven't been on television. Anyway, I love Brody King. I'm playing a bit. I'm playing a bit here, but let it go, Drew. Let it go.
You're the one.
And it looks like Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher are going to be continuing on because there was a little backstage segment where Kyle Fletcher was like, I didn't need any help tonight, which I'm interested in how that goes too. Could this be the start of Kyle Fletcher maybe being frustrated with Don Callis? And because it looked like Kyle Fletcher really didn't need any help there, but Alex, I don't know. But and Adam Cole blindsided him. They brawled a little bit. Adam Cole said he was going to kill him. He said, I'm going to kill you. You're a dead man. I'm going to kill you. Which I was like, that's aggressive. That's aggressive. If anything, you should want to kill Josh Alexander, not Kyle. You were just having a match with Kyle. Josh Alexander is the one that attacked you. But anyway, and that was dynamite. That was dynamite. So again, a really stellar pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. And then it was followed up by a really, really good Dynamite. The storylines are excellent. The shows have been excellent. AEW is really on a roll. They have been for a while.
In case you've been living under a rock, AEW is on fire. Right?
They are.
A direct shot at somebody.
Wait, what? See, again, I don't know. What does that mean? From who? Who is that a shot at? What did I miss? Why do I miss these things?
No, that's not. That wasn't an IWC thing.
Oh,
that's. I was just thinking a little dig at Triple H there. That's
all. Oh, fair. All right. Well, speaking of, let's slide our attention over.
And Sandy was here a moment ago. He came in.
Yeah, he said he was on vacation.
We're just about to get into WWE now.
Yes, we are.
You came in perfect time.
Yes.
Yeet to you, my friend.
Yeet, and yeet again. All right. So we had Saturday night. We had the whole weekend of WWE was in Tampa. But Saturday night, main event in Tampa. We don't have to go, bell to bell about what happened here. However, there were a couple big storyline things. So the show opened with an excellent tag match. It was Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn and CM Punk. This was the best match on the show. It was very, very good, as you would expect it to be. The crowd was hot for it. And the angle that came out of this was very, very hot because, we had been talking about who's the third guy that's going to join this group. And I know
it wasn't anyone that we thought it was going to be.
No, but I think everyone is happy about who it was, though. I have not seen a negative thing about who it is, but he was not on any. I didn't see anybody mentioning this guy's name. And at the end of this tag match, CM Punk is on the outside, and we see a returning Big Bronson Reed jump the barricade.
How they shot this too.
Yeah,
like they're all the way at the opposite end of the ring, and you just see him climb over the barricade and attack Punk.
Yeah,
like perfect.
He pounces, spears him through the barricade. Then Sammy gets distracted. He turns around into a spear from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins get the pinfall victory. And after the match, Bronson Reed gets up in the ring, and he's kind of squaring up with Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker looks like he's ready to go. And then we see kind of Seth from behind Braun say, hold on, buddy. And he goes and he hugs Big Bronson Reed. They pull CM Punk in the ring. Bronson hits the tsunami on Punk. And that is the new member of this Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins group. Big Bronson Reed obviously makes a lot of sense because when Big Bronson Reed kind of got elevated, it was Seth Rollins who he almost murdered with those 6
And
tsunamis.
I loved the explanation from Paul Heyman on Raw about that too.
Go ahead. We can go right into it. We can layer it up. Go ahead. Tell me about that explanation.
Yeah. Him talking about how they had pretty much scouted him as a result of the feud between Seth and Bronson.
Yeah.
I think a very, very, very great thing. Put over Braun Breaker as, somebody who is a man of the future. Put Bronson Reed over as, a big deal. And, did I glitch out for a second?
You've been glitching out for the last minute. Like your internet is real bad right now.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but you're glitching out audio and video wise. Like it's bad.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you. You were a little broken up as well, but I think you probably sounded better to me than I sounded to you.
Well, now you sound okay.
I don't know
and
if you
look
heard
okay.
anything that I said.
I heard you, but it was broken up and your video was really bad. Now it seems to be like it could be okay. You're a little bit on a delay, like your mouth is moving after you're saying these things, but we can hear you clearly. But we heard everything. It was just kind of broken up.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I do notice the delay right now also. So it seems like I'm probably maybe like a second. My voice is.
Now it's really bad. Now it's really bad.
Out, and then you see it. So.
Yeah, but now your voice is breaking up. See, the IWC heard you talking shit. IWC heard you talking shit. They were like, we gotta end it.
Well,
we gotta end
shit.
it. Yeah, what the hell is going on?
We might be okay now.
You go in waves, so I think just talk, and then we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So I liked the explanation last night. I think that Bronson Reed. I particularly liked Heyman putting over Bronson as somebody that WWE management were afraid of, because we know for a fact that Mr. Adam Pearce, the GM of Raw, was, and funny enough, I don't know why he didn't mention this. Paul should have also mentioned that technically both it came around the same time. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were both at one point frustrated with their spots on Raw with Adam Pearce, and both, I believe, took. I think they called it as like taking matters into their own hands or whatever it was. So they both did that around the same time last year, right when we started firmly WWE. And so so it wasn't just Bronson Reed, it was also Braun Breaker, but they didn't mention Braun Breaker's role. But I really like this a lot. So I think it makes all the sense in the world for Bronson to be in this group.
100%. 100%. I think it's a great add-on to this group. I really do. I think it fits perfectly with the backstory and all of it. I didn't see it coming like all of us, but I like it. I like it a lot. Chelsea Green went after to regain her WWE Women's United States Championship from Zelina Vega. However, Zelina Vega does get the victory. A short match, but a good match. It was entertaining. It was fun. Chelsea Green, again, pouring blood from her nose. What was going on with the nose injuries? I don't know what's happening, but all weekend and this week, people are getting banged up, especially the ladies with the nose injuries. Yeah, what's going on?
And wasn't oh no, because this was Saturday Night's main event. So
yes,
never mind.
I'm getting through this quickly as we kind of go.
It was a very short match, but they did announce Evolution during Saturday Night's main event.
Yes, they did, which is awesome.
So it was all right, we're giving you a subpar 5-minute match, but hey, here's a whole women's pay-per-view.
Yeah. And then we had John Cena going up against Ron Cena.
Now, I did say that the R-Truth thing, his stupid guy gimmick is like, it's a hit and a miss with me. It's not fully hit like a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a fully hit for me. I enjoyed this.
I enjoyed this too. What I thought was weird was when John's music played.
For John or for R-Truth?
For Ron.
Yeah.
When John's music played for Ron.
Yeah.
There was no like acting surprised about it. It was just like, oh hey, here's R-Truth, and everyone's just like going.
Because I think everybody was like, yeah, this fits. This totally makes sense because of the way R-Truth has always kind of been with Cena. I think all of us were kind of like,
I mean, but he's never come out to Cena's music before.
No, but I think it didn't really shock anybody because I think like it was like, okay, yeah, all right, this tracks. This tracks that this could have. I liked Cena's reaction where it was just kind of like that smirk, like he's just like he's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even angry. He was just like, Jesus Christ. Like this guy right here. Here we go.
But he did like the great babyface John Cena, like exactly what John Cena would have done.
Oh yeah.
As a babyface.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, again, this was another not terribly long match. But for what it was, I thought it was good. It was basically babyface John Cena being played by R-Truth going against the new John Cena. And it's what we got. We got, R-Truth, Ron Cena was hitting all the babyface elements of John that he doesn't do anymore. And John was just kind of the opposite, and it was good and it was fun. But at the end of the day, attitude adjustment, retain, that's it. And it was easy peasy. John Cena gets the victory. And then after the match, he hit R-Truth over the head with the title belt because that's his thing now. And he left. And that's where that went. To me, I thought the more intriguing, even though I enjoyed this, I thought the more intriguing thing that happened with John Cena was the face-to-face he had with Jey Uso in the back. As Uso is getting ready for his main event of Saturday night's main event, they kind of cross paths and Cena says, hey, it's been a while. And Jey says, yeah, last time I saw you, I eliminated your ass to win the Royal Rumble.
Right now again.
You're frozen. I can hear you though, but you're frozen. Now you look like you're from a 1980s television. So it says that
I may look and sound as robotic as John Cena did in this promo.
Yes. And John says, I'm glad you remembered the last time we saw each other, and I'm looking forward to the next time I see you, because there's something about him being in one of the most prestigious families in wrestling history and about to lose the title to Logan Paul. He says, I'm looking forward to leaving with the WWE Championship and seeing the World Heavyweight Championship left behind in the hands of a YouTuber. Yeah, so that happened. We usually don't gloss over the celebrities that they show or the old legends and stuff, but they showed Leilani Kai in the crowd, and they showed Tatanka. First of all, when I was a kid, bro, and I first started watching wrestling, I fucking loved Tatanka before he joined Money Incorporated and that group, DiBiase's group, that piece of shit turncoat. But I loved Tatanka, loved him, and Leilani Kai fucking rules. You know who else rules, Drew? Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh my God.
I love him.
So I watched Saturday night's main event yesterday morning.
Yeah, I watched it last night. So there you go.
And
I love him, Drew. He makes me miss real heel announcers. Like real heel announcers. He makes me miss
I was sitting here. It was around this time yesterday morning. I'm sitting here and I'm just howling at this man, completely shitting.
You're talking about all over Damian Priest.
All over Damian Priest.
Oh, dude, I fucking loved it.
It was so funny.
Oh.
It was so funny. And you can tell that Michael Cole is hating every moment of it, and it's so funny. It's so
good.
funny.
So good. Jesse the Body was on commentary. And look at Damian Priest and Drew Mac. They had them. This was a good cage
it
match.
was a great match.
This is a great match. And yeah, him talking over but that's just an old school thing. That's what they used to all do. They used to all do that. I mean, listen, Bobby the Brain Heenan is the best to ever do it. He's the best analyst to ever do it in the history of time. I don't even think it's close. But Jesse the Body, him and Monsoon were great. It was a great B team to Heenan and Monsoon in the history. I know everyone, to me, Bobby the Brain is on an island by himself. However, holy shit, man. Jesse the Body Ventura in this match was just as good as the match was. He made the match for me. Like, he was just tremendous. And like I said, it made me miss just the old school heel announcers that no matter what the babyface does, they're shitting all over the babyface. And it made me miss that type of stuff. And I thought Ventura was excellent. He could get through the door. Just go through the door. He's yelling. Oh, it was just real good. And I'm going to be honest with you. And we found out through some reports
he hated
that
he went through the door.
No, that's what it was. That's right. It was an opposite. Yeah. How he said it was as silly escaping through the door.
Yeah.
So he did not like it. But I was not expecting Damian. Yeah. I was not expecting Damian Priest to win this match. With that being said, we did find out that Drew McIntyre is taking some time off as he's banged up and just taking some time off. So that makes sense. I'm not upset that Damian Priest won this match. I love both these guys. I think both these guys are legitimate heavyweight world title contending guys. I think they're both at that level. I just expected Drew McIntyre to win because I do think that Drew McIntyre is a little bit higher on the totem pole. But I thought that this was a really great, really good win for Damian Priest. I'm excited to see where he goes from here, especially with Drew kind of stepping away for a little bit to heal up or get some much needed time off.
Drew's not the only one that's banged up.
No, he's not. But I really liked this cage match. I liked it, Drew, a lot. I thought this and the tag match were easily the top stuff on this show, like far and away.
It was like, I understand the criticism to the ending because after having like a long feud with a guy, just walking out of like the way that he did it was kind of like
in the annals of history. The only people that win cage matches by walking out the door are usually the bad guys. The good guys either climb over the cage back before you were allowed to pin and submit in there, or they win by pinfall. The guys like
if you're going to walk out of the cage, at least make it look like it's debilitating.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, all right, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 step floor. Yeah. It was like, okay, I'm out. Goodbye.
Yeah. So I think that's why, and I think that's where like Jesse the Body kind of leaned in. Cause like I said, in the history of time, the good guys don't win cage matches by walking out the door. That's like a heel thing to do. You know what I mean? So I think that was kind of how it went. But again, all in all, I thought this was a really good cage match. Then we had the main event. It was Jey Uso. It was Logan Paul. This match was fine. John Cena shows up during the match. He pulls the referee out of the ring after Jey Uso hits the splash and looks like he was going to beat. It is the ultimate disrespect. Now, maybe that fits because of the feud they had. And Priest is like, you put me through hell these last 3 months, so maybe I am going to walk out of the cage to show you how easy it was to win this match, kind of. Because I do agree with the Philia. It is really like an ultimate disrespect to kind of slowly walk out of the cage. So maybe that was babyface Priest being like, hey, buddy, fuck you. You've ruined my life the last 3 months, so I'm going to fucking savor this and embarrass you by walking. Yeah, I can buy into that. So, yeah, it looks like Jey Uso is going to win this match rather easily, to be honest with you. But John Cena comes out. He pulls the referee out. He starts beating Jey Uso down. It's 2-on-1. And the big thing that happens here is for the first time since WrestleMania, Drew, Cody Rhodes. He's here. The crowd goes absolutely fucking bananas.
Yeah.
When Cody comes out, he makes the save. He hits the crossroads on John Cena. Logan Paul then slides back in the ring. He has his brass knuckles. He's going to hit Cody. Cody ducks. Jey Uso hits the spear. He goes up. He hits another splash. The referee slides in the ring, and Jey Uso gets the victory, retains his World Heavyweight Championship. And after the match, Cody Rhodes gets on the mic, and he says, "John, you've ruined enough. I'm back. I'm ready to fight." And he says, "I have myself a partner. You have yourself a partner. Money in the Bank." And so at Money in the Bank, we are getting John Cena teaming up with Logan Paul, going against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Now, fine. That's a big-time tag match. That's fine. I think that was supposed to be John Cena and Travis Scott, from what I'm hearing. But Travis Scott kind of bailed. Until I hear reporting that tells me otherwise, I believe that was the plan. As it was supposed to. I think that at least the lining of this up, it was supposed to be, or people are saying it was supposed to be, John Cena and Travis Scott here, going against Cody and Jey. But for some reason, that did not happen, and now we are getting the listen. I think Logan Paul teaming up with John Cena in this Cena run makes sense. I think that's a proper teammate for John Cena, I believe. And I think, again, this will be a fine tag match at Money in the Bank for what it is.
It will be.
Yeah. I thought the opening angle with the show and Bronson Reed was good. I thought the closing angle here with Cody coming back was good. I thought the tag match and the cage match were the standouts. I thought it was a solid show, but it was another show that if you missed it, I don't think you missed anything. You missed some things, but I don't think you missed anything. I agree, Ophelia. I think this is a 1,000 better match with Logan Paul in it than Travis Scott, for sure.
Travis Scott, I had heard, was like training to wrestle.
Yes. And I think that was I think in Los Angeles, I think that this. Again, I'm not an insider. I don't know. There could be a report that comes out right after this show that tells me I'm a fucking moron. It happens all the time. But I happen to think that I think Travis Scott might have been the original plan
you need
for
a report
partner.
to tell you that?
Yeah, obviously. I know everything, Drew. Except that Brody King was going to win that match on Dynamite last night, apparently. But what'd you think of this little angle here and this tag match that they're building for Money in the Bank? I know how you feel about one of the individuals, but if we can try to be objective for once when it comes to that person.
It's fine. I mean, it's taking, just like I wasn't pleased with Double or Nothing having a bunch of titles on the show not being defended.
Yeah. Maria, that's what I heard as well. As Travis Scott. That's what I've been reading.
Where did that come from? I didn't hear that at all.
It was circling on the interwebs yesterday. Was that it was originally supposed to, again, it has not been officially reported by anybody of credibility. However, there were credible people discussing this in the Twitter sphere that I saw yesterday. So again, until it's reported
really that much yesterday.
Yeah. So but that is what I heard as well. Again, as of right now, it's just hearsay, so whatever. But
well, I will say this. I know what I'm getting out of Logan Paul.
Yep.
I don't know what I would have been getting out of Travis Scott.
Probably worse than what we're going to get out of Logan Paul, if we're being honest. From a match wrestling athletic I can't imagine.
Well, I mean, we don't know. We don't know how Travis Scott's athleticism.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Because of, I mean, and you could say because he's a smaller guy, he could have actually been more of an athletic guy than Logan Paul, even.
Maybe. I honestly think that Cody Rhodes was going to fucking wallop him, and he knew that, and he was going to get a receipt.
Well, but he got a receipt at WrestleMania.
Not like that. No. What? Not really.
Yeah, he punched. Punched Travis Scott before
but I don't know.
losing the title.
Yeah. I blocked that WrestleMania match out of my brain, Drew, because it was
Well,
dreadful. It was so dreadful.
I think
But
maybe Travis has seen the hate that he got from WrestleMania and said, "Oh, you know what? Fuck this."
maybe I'm going to be honest with you, Drew. WWE's kind of sucked lately. So you know, it's again, when I say that, I'm not sitting here saying that I haven't enjoyed the shows. I enjoyed Saturday night's main event. It was a fine show. I thought Raw was good. But the payoffs to all this shit have not been.
Man, I'm
It's
so fucking happy that you said that.
it's you know, to me, and again, I'm not doing this from a tribalistic standpoint. We are doing a show where we talk about both. It is not even close when it comes to the quality of these shows. NXT has been excellent. I know Drew doesn't watch NXT, but that NXT Battleground show was very good. The NXT episode on Tuesday, NXT, I'm not including them because I think that that's a really good show. Week in, week out, pay-per-view wise, that's a really, really good show. Mikey, what's going on, brother? But I think on the main roster, the payoffs here have been lackluster is a nice way to put it. I was going to say dog shit, but lackluster is probably a better way to put it. But
yeah, I would say lackluster.
With that being said, again, not bad shows. I thought Raw was good. I thought Raw was a good show. I thought Raw had a lot of good wrestling.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought the triple threat match with Gable, Dragon Lee, and
SmackDown
Penta
is
for the
almost
money.
unwatchable.
Well, didn't they say June they're going to 2 hours? Wasn't it June?
Yeah, I think this week is the
soon.
last.
This week is the last one officially?
Last week of 3 hours, I believe.
Bless. That'll do that show. That'll do that show wonders. That'll do that show wonders. We had some good matches on this Raw. We had the triple threat with Chad Gable, Dragon Lee, and Penta for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. That was a really good time. Penta got the win there.
Very scary spot in it, however.
Yeah, Chad Gable seemed to be okay.
Something bad happened there.
Yeah, Chad Gable seemed to be okay though. They extended it. That's not true. If they did, that would be WWE has made a lot of bad decisions lately, so that will. If that's
true,
I don't know if that's true. Jean Paul announced it when. Jean Paul. When did he announce it? The Jean Paul Levesque that used to be. Yeah.
Oh.
What is that? Oh, never mind. My computer, the website that I'm on with my notes, started playing a song, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" I was like, "Is that going on the stream?" I was like, "What is going on?" But
no,
anyway,
nothing played on the stream.
I will say, we're bitching about a 3-hour SmackDown, but AEW the next 2 weeks has 4-hour Dynamites.
It's only once.
It's twice. It's this week and it's next week and the week after. They're doing 4 hours.
No, they're not doing 4 hours twice.
Yes, they are. Unless I read that completely wrong. But they're doing 4 hours next Wednesday and 4 hours the Wednesday after. And then the Wednesday after that is Grand Slam. Unless it's just the 1 week, which I hope it is. But I was under the impression, I was under the impression it's 2 weeks in a row. 8 to 12.
God, I hope not.
I thought it was this. So obviously next Wednesday. I don't know why they're doing it all at once and not doing the 2-hour Dynamite and 2-hour Collision. And next week it's 8 to 12. Ridiculous. But I thought, is it just 1 week? Thank God. 1 week is still too many weeks. But it is what it is. Who am I? Okay. Yes. But then that's the thing. I think that's where the problem is because it's a 2-hour Dynamite and a 2-hour Collision, but they are back to back. Not back-to-back nights, back-to-back. And I thought it was for 2 weeks in a row. I hope I'm wrong. But I thought it was for 2 weeks in a row. But
I'm looking on the AEW website now. I don't know where to find anything on here. Okay, wait. All right, so next week is Fyter Fest.
Which is 4 hours.
That's June 4th, next week. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that 4 hours?
Yes, it's 8 to 12. 4 hours. Pretty sure.
Live Wednesday, June 4th. It doesn't.
Pretty sure it's 8 to 12.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we can, oh,
Yeah, that was me.
okay.
Yeah,
I
when people, yeah.
I wasn't paying
Um,
attention, so I don't know what happened. But,
well,
uh,
and again, I'm assuming it has to do with the NBA playoffs because I don't know why they just wouldn't go with the route that they've been going when they do the back-to-back nights. Just do the 2-hour Dynamite on Wednesday, the 2-hour Collision on Thursday. That seems to be a kind of a good thing that they do every so often. So I'm assuming maybe that Thursday wasn't free because of the NBA playoffs or something like that. I don't know why they decided to do the 4-hour shows, but I was under the idea that they were doing it back-to-back weeks. Next week and the week after are 4-hour episodes. And then the week after that is Grand Slam, which would, as of right now, is only a 2-hour episode.
well, so June 11th is Summer Blockbuster, and
And
that
that's a
was the show that I
4
thought was
hours.
a 4-hour show.
Yeah, no, next week is 4 hours too. That's why, because yes, Summer Blockbuster, I think they announced as a 4-hour show, but then Fighter Fest is showing up on my guide as a 4-hour show as well. So I think for the next 2 weeks on AEW, we're getting a 4-hour shows.
I don't remember them saying that they were both 4-hour shows, though.
Again, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't know. But we'll get there. We'll get there soon enough. Yeah, so that the triple threat happened. You know what? Can I tell you? Finn Balor. So we saw Liv Morgan return on Monday. And Raquel, obviously Roxanne Perez has been trying to get in the good graces of Dominic Mysterio these last few weeks. And Liv Morgan return. And you can tell that she does not like that at all.
Yeah.
But you know who does like it? Finn Balor. As Finn Balor is just standing in the background of these Judgment Day segments with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face, of him just having the time of his life watching all this drama ensue. Yeah, that was a great clip, Ophelia. Of all this drama ensue between Liv coming back and all this stuff, and Finn is just loving it, and it makes me laugh. So Liv Morgan does return. So we'll have to see what happens there. We had Rusev absolutely destroy Akira Tozawa in that match. And then he was keeping the accolade on Tozawa. And we saw Sheamus come out and have a good little stare down with Rusev. So it seems like we're going to be building towards a Rusev and Sheamus match, which is they are going to beat
nations.
Yes, yeah, true. But they're going to beat the crap out of each other. Oh, they are going to beat the crap out of. No, what was that? Wade Barrett, them two, and Shithead Del Rio, right? Is that who that group was?
Yeah.
Oh
God, it is. They're both 4-hour
yes,
shows.
I told you. Yeah, they're 2 weeks in a row, 4-hour shows. I told you. Yeah. Correct. Correct. So yay for me having to stay up till 12 o'clock and then do a post show after both those shows and then wake up early and chat with you about it. Because those are long. 4 hours is a long ass show.
Well, the problem is July 12th. Not July 12th, June 12th. I'm not gonna. That's the show that I'm not gonna be able to do in the morning.
Oh. Well, you're gonna miss probably. I assume they're gonna ball these shows out because they're so long.
No. I mean, I can watch the shows, but I can't come on Thursday morning. So.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, he's gonna.
Is June 12th one of the shows that you were not going to be able to do?
What's June 12th? 2 weeks? 2 weeks from today? I'd have to double check, but I know I'm going to have a couple here in the next month or month plus that we're going to have to either pick a different day or figure something out. So, but I'll look at the calendar. But yeah, I got a couple that I'm going to have to we're going to have to maneuver some stuff around and maybe do firmly on a different day those weeks or something like that. So, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we get there. Follow Firmly LW on Twitter for any news or things like that. Yeah, so we have a stare down between Rusev and Sheamus. Around the Ballpark is saying he's worried about the Rusev lack of reaction. We all want to care about him, so hopefully it works out. I just think we haven't seen him a lot since he's returned. He had the big return, and then there was the couple of the backstage, vignettes or interviews, which have been great because it's the Redeemer character, and that's really his wheelhouse. I think once he's in the ring and wrestling week after week and doing the stuff that we know he can do, I think he'll be okay. We had Sami Zayn cut a promo. He said he can't stand hearing Seth Rollins talk and he should have been out there to do something. He said Jey Uso appears and asks him for what? To run in on 1-on-3 odds? No, we got to be smart. And if Sami wants to take the power, he needs the Money in the Bank briefcase. Uso said he also had his back, and they do their handshake. So that was a nice little thing, as the main event was going to be another Money in the Bank qualifying match. We then had a three-way for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. It was the Creed brothers versus the New Day versus the War Raiders. This was a good tag match, but at the end of the day, the New Day, and thank God for the New Day, as Xavier Woods wins with a roll-up on Julius, I think it was Brutus Creed he beat, and they retained the world titles. And I thought this was good because for the last couple of weeks, the New Day have been kind of talking up the Creeds and acting like they were on the same side as the Creeds. And then for them to then pull one over on the Creeds and kind of take advantage of that and win the match due to that with the Creeds, I thought was a nice little touch. Hopefully this leads to the Creeds getting a one-on-one tag title match with the New Day because the Creeds are excellent. But New Day retains. They move forward. Yeah, I know WWE kind of spoiled it, but yeah, Vikingo is going to beat Del Rio for the AAA belt. WWE already announced that he was the champion, even though he hasn't won the belt yet. He's going to beat Del Rio, and then I would expect that Del Rio would be fired shortly after that. And then that'll be that.
Don't let the
sayonara
on the way out.
Exactly. Sayonara. Fuck you. Bye. Never see you again. Peace out.
Yeah, let it hit you on the way out.
Yes. Liv Morgan and Raquel are backstage, and they run into Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Morgan makes fun of them. She says, "Oh, is it a Damage Control reunion?" But Io Sky tells her to keep walking. Liv says she's going to walk right into Adam Pearce's office and get herself a qualifying match so she can do what Kairi can't and win Money in the Bank. Kairi then gets in her face and challenges her to a match tonight. Liv Morgan accepts, and then that's it. We see main event Jey Uso make his entrance. The crowd is eating, having a good time. He says it's been a busy week for the champ. He goes, Logan Paul got yeeted on. John Cena's about to get yeeted on because that Money in the Bank. And then, boom, Gunther's music hits. I agree with you both, Ophelia and Payne. I like the Ophelia and Payne. Ophelia and Fernando. I do think the Creeds need to win the tag title soon. I do like the Creeds a lot. I think Ophelia, that could be something we get. I think it could be the other way around, though, with Dom and Roxanne versus Liv and Finn, though. But Gunther comes out. Gunther gets on the mic. He says, I came out here to congratulate you. And he goes, and this one comes from a very personal place. He goes, first, congratulations on 15 years of the Usos in WWE. He says, second, congrats on your first successful title defense. He goes, and I'm right there whenever his friends need help. He goes, you're right there whenever your friends need help. That's a great quality for a human being, but a terrible quality for a champion. He goes, but I don't blame you, Jay. You don't know better. He goes, being a champion doesn't come natural to you. He goes, I was able to be a champion for almost a year because the only person I cared about was me. And if I'm being fully honest, I don't think you have the intellect to carry yourself as a great champion. He goes, in 2 weeks, when we step in the ring one more time, I'm going to relieve you of your position. I'm going to make things right. I'm going to choke you out, and I'm going to take the title back where it belongs, around my waist. And then Jay says, you done? You done? He goes, because I'm done. And everybody's saying my days at champ are numbered. I'm done with everybody using the title as an excuse to turn their back on people that brought them up. He says, I'm a real one. I got friends and family, and they fight for me, and I fight for them. And then Gunther, he goes, you want to run your mouth on my life and judge me? Go ahead, because when all is said and done in 2 weeks, I'm retaining the title. And that's how that went. I do think Gunther should win the title back in a couple weeks, but I don't think he's going to win the title back in a couple weeks. But I do think Gunther should. But this is, look at,
we know why.
Seth Rollins is the guy that's going to beat Jey Uso for that belt. Like, that's what's happening.
We know why Gunther's losing that title match.
Yes, I believe Gunther might have other problems.
He may be next.
Coming up. He might be
somebody.
next. He might be next. And then we got the Kairi Sane Liv Morgan match. This was a fun little match. Obviously some shenanigans at the end of it helped, or looked like it was going to help Liv win. So Roxanne gets out there, she runs interference, and then her and Raquel are arguing with each other because Raquel is like, get out of here, you're not a part of this. And Liv didn't get distracted by Roxanne coming out and helping her. Liv got distracted when Raquel started yelling at Roxanne. And then that led to Kairi Sane getting the upset pinfall victory over Liv Morgan with the schoolboy. And you could tell that Liv was very frustrated with both Raquel and Roxanne after this match. So I thought that was a nice little touch. Because I'm going to be honest, Roxanne, when she came out and helped, that was going to help Liv win. And then Raquel and her started bickering, and that is really what caused Liv to lose. So I think they can go an intriguing route storyline-wise if they want to there. We get a Rhea Ripley promo where she says she hasn't been feeling very on top lately, but she's going to change that by winning Money in the Bank. And then we have another backstage segment with Judgment Day where Liv Morgan is furious. Raquel tries to blame Roxanne, but Liv tells her that she's the veteran and she should have known better. And the whole time Finn is sitting down, just smiling, giggling like a child.
I'm interested in this, but I'm also ready for it to end. I'm like, it's like a double-edged sword for me. I'm like, can we just get to the fucking breakup already, for God's sake? It's been a year.
Yeah.
A year. These slow, extremely slow builds that Triple H loves doing so much.
Yeah.
Like, can we just get to the breakup already?
Yeah. I mean, it's happening. It's happening. We know it is. We then get Lyra Valkyria making her entrance.
God, I love her so much.
Yeah. Again, best part of the show with these two. Best part of the show.
She just knows how to dig at Becky Lynch.
So good. She says she wishes, we're going to talk about that affiliate because I think who's going to win Money in the Bank is not currently in the match. Right now, I'd probably lean Roxanne. Of who's in the match. However, after we get through Raw. So Lyra says she wishes she was here to tell us about a new contender to her title, but Becky Lynch, that's what we're going to get to. But Becky Lynch did what she does, and once again, she talked herself into a rematch at Money in the Bank. She says, I have nothing left to prove. I beat Becky twice and every opponent she's ever had. She doesn't care what they say or do. Once she beats them, I'm the ultimate winner. She goes, but I didn't feel any satisfaction beating Becky at Backlash because her ego is still through the roof. No embarrassment or sense of shame at being beaten. And she sat on the turnbuckles and talked like she won the match, like she won that match like a rat with a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah. And she goes, now it's personal. At Money in the Bank, I'm going to break Becky Lynch's ego, even if she has to smash her head to do it. And then we get Becky Lynch. She comes out, she says, I was done with you and I was on to bigger and better things. And sure, you won the match, but I won the fight. And I went home with my hot husband while you went to the hospital with your weird looking fiance. Then Lyra says, Seth is the most talented thing about you. I thought that was a good line. Lynch then fires back and says she's getting Lyra spoken about, but Valkyria points out they're talking because she beat Becky. Becky offers up and says, if I lose, she goes, how about this? At Money in the Bank, if I lose, I'll never challenge for that title again. But if I win, you need to raise my hand in victory. Lyra says she's never had a problem this was a great little thing from Lyra. She goes, I've never had a problem raising somebody's hand after they beat me. It's just that you haven't beaten me yet. And then they have a stare down, and that's how that ends. Another great segment by really Fernando. I think there's a chance that Bayley shows up and helps Becky win. I think it's possible. But
I mean, there's got to be a real good explanation for why she's helping the person that took.
No. Personally, what I think is going to happen is I think Becky's going to win this match at Money in the Bank, and then I think she's going to be either. What I basically thought was going to happen at Backlash, I think, is happening here, where she's going to win the title, and then Bayley is going to come back, and we're going to get a Bayley and Becky thing for the IC title. And then I think at the end of the day, Lyra gets the belt back from Becky, putting her over even more than she's been elevated here.
Possible.
I think that's probably what you do. Because I think at the end of the day, Lyra Valkyria is the type of wrestler you want a mid-card title to be on. Put it on somebody who you want to elevate to that. Like, I don't think Bayley or Becky need that title, but I think Bayley and Becky elevate that title even higher than it's been elevated with Becky going for it. And then I think Lyra getting the title back at the end of all of this, I think it puts Lyra on a completely different stratosphere. So. Yeah, I think that's the way.
I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah. But again, I thought these two, when they are together, it is magic with these two. Their promos are great. Their matches are great. Lyra has mattered more in this last month than she has since she's been up on the main roster. And part of that is because they're letting her talk and showing her personality, which they didn't do. And part of it is because she's going against Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch matters. And Becky Lynch is doing a great job of elevating Lyra and putting Lyra over. You know? I think that this is really good stuff that they're doing right here with these two.
Now, Lyra has been just a completely rejuvenated character since Becky turned heel on her. Mm-hmm. It's been just, I've been telling you every week we're on here. And I'm just singing Lyra's praises. And I didn't know that was something that I would ever do because I didn't realize how good she actually was.
Yeah, she's quite tremendous. She is quite tremendous.
She is consistent on the microphone. She is able to tear down Becky believably on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Becky.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
And we already knew, like, we came on here every week and we were like, oh, Lyra is one of the best wrestlers, in-ring wrestlers that they have in that whole company. Like, she is tremendous. But we were yelling for months, what is her character? There's a clip going around of, besides she's a bird, what is going on with Lyra? There's nothing there. And in one feud, it took one feud with somebody like Becky Lynch. And now Lyra, the crowd fucking screams the woos in her song. Yeah. Screams them. They have made Lyra with this feud.
I remember that first promo. They were what chanting her
at the beginning of it.
At the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And by the end, they did that big brawl. Nobody. That was the last time she got a what chance.
Yep. And she hasn't got one of them since. And again, look at this is twofold because the crowd is reacting to Lyra because she is performing very, very well and doing some really good shit. But the crowd is also responding because she has an opponent at the level of Becky Lynch. Like that, this is what, and again, I love how they're leaning in to the online bullshit that people say about Becky, and it's just part of Becky's character now. And they're leaning into it. And basically, like, again, you have these people saying these things as Becky Lynch is feuding for a mid-card title and losing matches on pay-per-views to a mid-card champion. Like, it is, they're just doing this real good. Real good. This is one of the few things that I think they've kind of nailed here without any hiccups recently. I love, this is my favorite thing happening on Raw by far, and it has been for a bit. And I saw around the ballpark mention it. We see Sami Zayn walking backstage towards the ring as he is in the main event, and he runs into Karrion Kross. And Sami says, "Oh, you like to play your little mind games. I got no time for him." And he starts walking away, and Karrion Kross says, "You know you're never going to win that title." Right? And Sami stops, and he turns around, and he goes right back in Kross's face. And he goes, "I'll deal with you later. I'll deal with you later." And then we have this triple threat match. Oh, and it was a good one. This was a good main event.
Before we get into that, do we think something's really ever coming of Karrion Kross? Or
I think he's going to be in Money in the Bank.
On TV because he's popular right now.
I think he's going to be in Money in the Bank. I think so? I think so. I think he'll be in the match. I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to win it. But at some point, and I think we're already getting there, like the crowd clearly wants this guy to be more involved. So at some point, you have to do it.
Do you?
You have to, right?
I mean, I say yes, you have to do it, but I don't know if they're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
ever since WrestleMania, when he had that crazy promo and he was involved in the Logan Paul AJ Styles match, and then he was on the Raw after in the little backstage promo with AJ. Mm-hmm. Where's he been since then?
I don't know.
I really don't. Apparently, he's had some main event matches, and the crowds are behind him on main event.
Oh, big time. Big time.
And he did an interview recently, I think, with Ariel Helwani.
Yes.
And he had a documentary that I haven't watched it yet. I keep meaning to. The documentary that they put out on his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time we're seeing him on TV in like over a month.
Yep.
So.
No, he's done backstage stuff, hasn't he?
I don't remember him being on TV since. I'll say, I don't remember if he was. I think he was shown backstage talking to someone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just in one of those little behind the scene backstage segments. But like, this is the first time I've heard him talk since Raw after WrestleMania.
All right, that's fair.
On TV, at least.
Yeah. I happen to think that he'll end up in the Money in the Bank men's match. I think that would be a good spot for him to kind of show off his skills against some people. But it was Finn Balor, it was Sami Zayn, and it was Seth Rollins. Money in the Bank qualifying match. I actually thought that Finn Balor should have won this match.
Well, however, he didn't win anything, so.
However, good triple threat match with these three guys, though. Real good, as you would expect. Judgment Day gets involved. Poor Sammy. He's the only one out there that doesn't have a group. Seth Rollins has a group. Finn Balor has a group. Sammy's out there. He's got friends, but he's out there by himself, really, for the most part. But again,
his friends just wait until the end of
over.
The show.
Yeah, they wait till it's over. Yeah. Judgment Day is getting out there to try to help Finn win. Seth's group is out there trying to help Seth win. Sammy's friends are like, we're going to wait until you lose, and then we're going to come out and help you. It's like, what? Okay. But anyway, This was a fun triple threat, real good with these three guys. Judgment Day, they make their presence felt. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed make their presence felt. And then at the end of this, because of the numbers game, Seth Rollins ends up hitting a stomp on a chair to Finn Balor to get the 1, 2, 3 and qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't think Seth needs to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't, but I understand.
Well,
if that's the direction they want.
So, his commentator just said that Seth Rollins winning and cashing in would get him a face reaction, and he's supposed to be a top heel, so he shouldn't win. They don't give a shit about that. If you've been watching Raw lately, they have not changed anything about Seth's presentation since WrestleMania. They are still leaning into the singing his music and the woes, and he's still egging it on and orchestrating it. They don't give a shit that he's getting all that reaction.
Yeah. I don't know.
Becky, on the other hand, complete opposite. She's like, I don't want anybody cheering me.
Correct.
Even though she has her same music that everyone loves. Please God, don't change it to some shit, god awful Def Rebel bullshit.
No, I don't think they. I don't think they would.
She is heavily leaning into being a heel, and she has succeeded in doing so. They don't give a shit about making the Seth Rollins group a heel on TV at all.
Yeah. After the match, Jey Uso comes down at one point. He makes the save. Dominic introduces a chair, and Dominic does the old wrestling trope where you have a chair, you want to slide the chair to your stablemate or your teammate, and instead of just sliding the chair directly to him, you slide it in the middle of the ring. If you want Finn to use the chair, how about you slide the chair to fucking Finn? I think that would work for you. No. Oh, hey, use this chair, Finn. I'm not going to slide it right at you, though. I'm going to put it 10 feet in the middle of the ring right there. Crawl to it. Go.
He doesn't even have to throw it in the ring. He just run around and hand it to him.
Ridiculous. I get it. It's wrestling, and obviously we're wrestling. I get it. But like one of the tropes that bothers me so much. Here, I need you to use this chair. I'm not just going to give it to you, though. Go get it. What? Anyway, that led to the stomp on the chair. Look, it's a wrestling trick. It's a wrestling trope. It is what it is. And that led to the win. They're beating everybody down. Post-match, we hear CM Punk's music, Cult of Personality hit, and the heel faces do another trope where they all turn around looking at the ramp like they're ready for him. And what happens when that happens, Drew? 99.9% of the time, when everybody's ready for the guy to come down the ramp, what happens?
I think that is a terrible indictment on Paul Heyman, because he should have known. He should have known that Punk was not coming from there.
Here's my thing. There are 3 of you in the ring. Why don't you have 2 of you look at the fucking ramp? And then the other one turns around and looks at the surrounding areas. All 3 of you need to. There's only one guy that's coming. All 3 of you need to.
Well, the other wrestling trope is one guy comes out, 40 clear the ring.
My God. But Cult of Personality.
All these 40 people, they're so scared of this one guy.
Man. Cult of Personality hits. They're all looking at the aisle. CM Punk runs through the crowd. He hits the go to sleep on Seth. And then Punk retreats back through the crowd, takes his shirt off. He's having a good time. The crowd's pumped. And that's how the show ends, with CM Punk kind of standing tall, while Seth, even though Seth is in the Money in the Bank, and you would have to think he's the favorite as of this moment, that's what they're thinking. So, well, they would need 97 more guys, would they not? If that were the case. But yeah, I thought, it was a great main event match. I necessarily didn't think that Seth needs to be in the Money in the Bank. I definitely don't think he needs to win it, but I get it with the story they're telling with him kind of being the future and the savior of WWE and the kind of the thing they're doing there. I get it. I still don't think he needs to win Money in the Bank. I hope he doesn't. I think he can just get to that match with Jay without it. But with that being said, again, I
Who else
like
has
this
been
match.
in? Do we know of anybody
LA
else in the
Knight,
match?
yeah, there's LA Knight and Solo. Because they did the 2 matches on SmackDown. So it was Solo and LA Knight qualified on SmackDown. And Penta. Penta and Seth qualified on Raw. And then I would assume there's going to, because they're doing 6 people now, right? So I assume there'll be one more person representing SmackDown and one more person representing Raw.
This is a pick maybe out of left field, but right now I think Solo might win.
It's possible. I mean, we got to see who the last 2 people are in the match. On the men's side, yeah. And then on the women's side, we have Roxanne Perez. Who is the other person? It's Roxanne Perez. Naomi.
Who I think Naomi 100% deserves it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Naomi. I would think that she's probably the leader in the clubhouse, though. Although, even though we're done with Raw, and I know you're not an avid NXT guy, on Tuesday night,
absolutely, they can be in the match, but they should not be winning.
Stephanie McCurr can win.
No.
Oh, yes, she can. Yes, she can. Absolutely, she can. Stephanie McCurr was on Raw back-to-back weeks, and on the second show, she got the biggest pop of the night. She got the biggest pop of the night on the second week.
Okay, so I'll say Stephanie. Okay.
The rumor is, so on Tuesday night, NXT Battleground was also excellent. If you haven't watched that show, go back and watch that show. It was a very, 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 very good show. Trick Williams is the TNA World Champion, which is crazy. However, Tuesday night, I think we saw some shifts happening in the NXT landscape because everybody's talking about the NXT Women's Championship, as they should, because the main event was Stephanie McCurr versus JC Jane of Fatal Attraction. And JC Jane, good for her, by the way. She's been down there for a long time. JC Jane beat Stephanie McCurr to become the new NXT Women's Champion, which was a shock to everybody. But earlier on in the evening, to start the show, Ricky Saints also lost his NXT North American Championship to Ethan Page, which I think was very unexpected. And then we saw rumors come out yesterday, Drew, that Ricky Saints, Jordan Grace, who lost to McCurr in the main event or for the women's title at Battleground, and Stephanie McCurr are all rumored to be coming up to the main roster very, very soon. So it seems to be that there's going to be some shifting of the landscape of NXT people coming up. We've already seen Julia and Roxanne. Oh, yeah. So the women are Alexa Bliss, Julia, Rhea, and Roxanne Perez are the 4 that are already in the women's. That's a good 4.
Not Naomi?
Naomi's in a match tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Now, I do think Naomi wins that match, and I think it's Naomi, it's Jade, and it's Charlotte. Is that the 3?
Nia, I believe.
Nia, yes. I could see Nia Jax sneaking in because Naomi and Jade take each other out. I could see Nia Jax because
we don't have to always go with the classic wrestling.
I agree, but I also think, and I know this is everyone's gonna be like, ugh. Nia Jax having the Money in the Bank briefcase and chasing Tiffany after Tiffany chased Nia. I think that's a fun story. You could tell if you wanted to do that. Personally, I think that Stephanie McCurr will end up in this Money in the Bank match. I think because the rumor is she's going to Raw, Jordan's going to SmackDown. That's the rumor when you read the reports. I think SmackDown is going to get their third person between Nia, Jade, and Naomi. tomorrow. So that means on Raw, we're going to need one more triple threat. And I could see if I don't know if they've already announced it because they announce things throughout the week and I don't pay attention to that type of stuff right off the shoot. I could see Stephanie at least being in the qualifying match. And I feel like if she's in the qualifying match, she's going to win. She's going to win.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I don't think
they'll definitely add to the match.
I don't think people are ready for how quickly Stephanie Vaquer is going to shoot up to the top of the women's division. She's going to be a world champion by the end of the year at like the latest. I think that's how quickly she is going to show up, be over, and be put into a position of top level things immediately.
Yeah, definitely possible.
She is a whirlwind. She showed up in NXT, and within weeks, she was the most popular person down there. And then she showed up on those back-to-back Raws, and by the second week, she was getting one of the top pops of the night. When she showed up at the Royal Rumble, the crowd went bananas for her. I think that she has kind of this thing behind her that she's going to show up, and it is going to be immediate. I think you can make an argument right now that she is one of the top women wrestlers in the world, like one of the 5 best. You can make that argument already. And when she's put up on the main roster with the machine behind her, which I expect her to have, I think it's going to be very quick, a quick ascent to the top for Stephanie. There's something about her that is, you just see her and you're immediately like, yeah, that is a top level person immediately. And I don't think you take the title off her like they did on Tuesday if you don't have big plans. I just don't think you do it that way because that was kind of out of nowhere. That was like really out of nowhere, you know? So,
yeah, I would assume.
I don't know, but yeah, so we have 2 more spots in the women's. We have 3 more spots in the men's to get to. Remember when these matches used to be 8 people? They used to be 8 people.
There were 8 people?
Yeah, the first usually it was 8, and then they kind of have made it 6 for these last handful of years or so. But there used to be 8 people. I
remember that.
And these Money in the again, there was only one of them, one for a while with just the guys having one. But there used to be 8 people that were in these matches, which is nuts when you think about it. But I did want to at least mention NXT before we got out of here because they had a lot of stuff go on this weekend that is going to affect the main roster soon. Very soon. But again, just a giant weekend of wrestling, Drew, and it's not stopping, dude, because we have a lot of wrestling coming up. We have these massive AEW Dynamites these next couple weeks. We have AEW Grand Slam the week after that. We have the All In weekend, which now has
it's really a lot.
which now has All In happening, but now we have an NXT pay-per-view that weekend. We have a Saturday night's main event that night. We have the Evolution pay-per-view the next day. So that weekend has turned into a show that thank you Around the Ballpark. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
We have another giant weekend where if you want to get everything in, you're going to have to sacrifice your whole weekend, or you're going to be having to watch 2 shows at the same time and all these things because
there's only 3 shows for me that weekend, not 4. So
yeah, I know you're not going to watch the second best one. It's crazy. But yeah, it's another one of those things. I do think it's a disservice to NXT that they're doing.
Saturday night's main event ain't that big of a deal either. But
yeah, I mean, if I was going to get rid of one of the shows that weekend, it would be Saturday night's main event would be the show I would get rid of. Not like if I was like I only can watch 3, I'm not watching Saturday night's main event because I'm definitely All In takes precedent. That's the number 1, and then Evolution and what's the show? What's the NXT show? They just did Battleground. Whatever that one is that NXT is doing. Bash at the Beach? No. Great American Bash? Is that what they're doing? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Believe it.
Those 2 shows would take precedent over Saturday night's main event for me, for sure. Those would be my 3 if I had to miss. But I'm a psycho, and I'm going to watch all 4 and complain about it all the time. I'm going to openly complain about it. But it is what it is. But and then after that, there's just a lot of wrestling. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to consume. I'm not complaining about it because the best things I do every week are get on here with you and Pluggo and the body. So the best things I do all week is talk about wrestling, whether it's at Love Wrestling, whether it's on Body Slam, whether it's over on the Hive, which I love talking about wrestling with my friends and doing cool stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and bitch about the amount of shows I have to watch. I just think the thing that makes me upset about it is I think it's a disservice to the fans. I think it's a disservice to the fans, and I think it's a disservice to your NXT roster who have busted their ass to make their show the most consistent show under your fucking network. And this is the second pay-per-view now in a row that you're taking eyeballs off of them because you're going against a big-time pay-per-view in a different company to be petty. Because you don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Evolution is
Could
Sunday
have been
night.
any other weekend. Could have been any other weekend.
Even if you want to do it that weekend, Evolution is Sunday night at 6:00. You couldn't have Great American Bash on Sunday afternoon. You couldn't have Great American Bash Sunday afternoon at 1:00 and then do Evolution Sunday night at 6. You have to do Great American Bash the same time as All In. Again, I will probably be watching both, but Great American Bash will be muted and off to the side on the second thing, and All In will have my undivided attention. But at the same time, that's a disservice to me as a wrestling fan. You're creating a disservice to me because I want
All In was on the afternoon, actually.
Yes, because it's on at 3. So you are creating a disservice for me, someone who enjoys both companies, who watches both companies. Now you are making me pick and choose, or having to focus on both and not have my full undivided attention on one wrestling show, which is what I like. You want to stagger it throughout the day, then have me sit here for 12 hours and watch back-to-back-to-back shows? Fine. I'll do that. That's fine. But when you have me having to watch 2 at once or watching one not live, that is where it's called being a petty asshole. That's what it's called, Universal. Yeah, it is business, but you don't have to do it. Yeah. Do you remember that? See, this is why I timed this guy out earlier, because he's a petty asshole. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to ban you for life. So see you later, buddy. Bye. So, I just,
that's
it's
what
petty.
You did the first time.
No, I timed him out.
Oh, because it said that they were banned. It didn't say
I timed him out because I was like, maybe he's not a prick. And then he came back and he was like, meh. And it's just, I don't have time for that. First of all, if your
the problem is, though, it is business, but
you just don't need to do it.
Shitty business.
Yes, correct. It's shitty business. It's petty. You're doing it. You're not doing it. And again, these people that are out there that say, oh, they're doing it because AEW is a threat. No, they're not. They're not doing it because AEW is a threat.
They're not doing it because AEW is a threat. They're doing it because they want to squash AEW.
Correct. And they don't need to do it. You are WWE. You're the number one ball game in town, even though AEW has been outperforming you for months now. But you are the number one ball game in town. You don't need to do these things. You just don't need to do it. You're doing it because you're petty. To me personally, and don't get me wrong, I like when places take digs at each other and they do that. I like good competition, but like Ophelia said, it's a bad look when you're when the top guy's punching down. It's just a bad look.
Yeah.
And I just think it's unnecessary. Does AEW, they came out right at the shoot when they started this company and they said, WrestleMania weekend, we're not touching. We're not touching WrestleMania weekend. That's not our weekend. We're never going to run shows WrestleMania weekend. It's just not what we're doing.
And they've stuck by that consistently.
And they have stuck by that. And that doesn't make them a more noble company or anything like that. I'm not coming in from that angle. But they understand that people go to WrestleMania weekend. People get excited for WrestleMania weekend because it's WrestleMania. And they said, that's their weekend. We're not going to impede on that weekend. That won't be good business for us. So we're going to let them do that. But now WWE, because AEW has been having these all-in weekends, these double or nothing weekends since the beginning that they've been open to 5-6 years now. And now all of a sudden, WWE is like, oh, guess what? We're having major shows all throughout these weekends too. What a coincidence.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're announcing them weeks after AEW's announced their shows.
Correct.
And we can make it a different time, but we're making it specifically and purposefully so that we inundate your pay-per-views weekends. We're going to put a Saturday night's main event. We're going to put an NXT. We're going to put Evolution now, which Evolution could be.
Now, Evolution is on its own day, though. That's at least on its own day, and now we'll have to focus on its own as day, it should, but as it should.
It's still adding 3 more hours of wrestling to the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's, to add the NXT show and then add Evolution. Saturday night's main event was already there. And AEW was like, okay, we're not going to compete with Saturday night's main event. We're going to go earlier. And then WWE goes, oh, no, sir, we're going to do NXT and we're going to do Evolution also on that same weekend. Yeah. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to think that I'm not happy about like Evolution, because
the fact that Evolution is back is tremendous. That is tremendous.
It's important. And I'm happy for the women in WWE that are going to be able to put on a great pay-per-view. But I'm not happy that I can't just be happy about it. Yeah. Because it's being used to stifle the biggest weekend of the other company.
Yeah, on purpose. And it's just, again, it's not like they both announced these a year ago, and it's like, oh shit, wow, they're on the same weekend. It's like WWE knows All In has been announced in Texas since fall of last year, dude. AEW announced that All In was going to Texas literally 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And now just all of a sudden, that's the weekend on your calendar that you need to do what you're doing. That's the weekend. And again, All In is on Saturday at 3:00. You want to have that Saturday night's main event at 8? I'm cool with that. Fine. That's totally okay. Because that was announced with advance. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Because there have been weekends where WWE has had a pay-per-view on a Saturday and AEW has had a show on a Sunday. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, that happens very frequently.
Happens frequently, and I'm cool with those wrestling weekends when it's that way. But when you start announcing NXT shows and I don't mean this don't come at me. I'm not considering Evolution as second level, but you know what I mean when I say that. Like
a specialty show.
Yes. Yes, that's a better way to put it. When you start announcing those things a month in advance, that's the weekend you had to do it. That's the week. You couldn't have done it the next weekend. No, you couldn't. You couldn't have had the NXT and Evolution be the next weekend. So you have Saturday night's main event that weekend, and then the next. No. It had to be that weekend. Just coincidentally at the same fucking time as the other company's WrestleMania. Really? That's just a coincidence, I'm supposed to believe? No, it's not. It's you being shitty. And again, business is business. You want to make more money. You want to do that. Fine. That's cool. I'm talking as a fan, and as a fan who enjoys and spends a lot of time watching and talking about both your companies, and you're doing me a disservice. You're doing me a disservice because now you're making me pick and choose. And newsflash, I'm not picking you, Paul. I'm not picking you. Now, there'll be plenty of people that will, and that is their God-given right to do so. God bless. You can watch whatever you enjoy is whatever you enjoy. I enjoy both. So I'm not going to sit here and make fun of you because you're choosing, or get on you because you're choosing one over the other. But the problem, the thing for me is we shouldn't have to fucking choose. We should just be able to watch what we have to watch and watch what we want to watch and just be okay and be like, okay, cool. This is an AEW weekend. Oh, next week's a WWE weekend. Oh, now you're just being petty. And it's just, to me, it's a really bad look. But anyway.
Yeah, but the problem though is that they don't care about that.
No,
They don't care that it
Listen,
looks bad because they're going to continue to rely on the mindless drones that defend them at their every move and go, yeah, you know what? We're not going to call it competition, and we're not going to say that we're counter programming them or anything because nobody, there's the clear, people have planted their flags
mm,
and wake up in the morning and salute them, stare at those flags and salute them, and go, I'm going on social media today to defend you for free, even though you do not know that I exist and I don't get a penny from you and I'm never going to get a penny from you. And that's just what happens because that's what social media does.
mm-hmm. There you go. See, you still got to say your thing you wanted to say about the IWC. See, it's called full circle, Drew. It's a circle of life, as one Elton John used to say. All right. We got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody. It was good to be back this week. I was very sad I had to miss last week, but you did a great job soloing and doing your thing there. But glad to be back. Great show. A lot to talk about. Drew and I will be back next Thursday to talk about a 4-hour AEW Dynamite and obviously everything that happens in WWE as well. But until then, Drew, let the people know what else you got going on. And then we'll get out of here, man.
Follow me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Blue Sky, and I'll tell you what I'm doing there. Because sometimes, for the next couple weeks, I don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm doing this show next week, but with these 4-hour Dynamite Collision blends, Wednesdays are going to be real interesting.
Yes, they certainly are. You know where you can find me. I'm here every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. I will be right back here on this very channel at 8 p.m. tonight with my main squeeze pluggo. It's Between Two Beards. We're going to be diving into a lot of the stuff that you just heard Drew and I talk about today. Double or Nothing recap, the weekend in WWE recap. We're going to talk about probably more in detail this NXT stuff. Rumor has it that we have a certain retired person joining us tonight because they were at Double or Nothing over the weekend. So yeah, be on the lookout. We'll be back tonight. You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming for all other things. Big week next week as well. Hopefully in these next couple weeks, I'll start streaming on my own channel a little bit more. This shoot job schedule has been something. So I haven't been streaming as much as usual, but we should be hopefully getting back in the saddle there over the next couple weeks. Next week, obviously on Body Slam after Raw, you can find me doing the Raw Dogs post show over there. You can find me doing Dynamite Up over there after AEW Dynamite. The next couple weeks, though, we're going to try to figure that out because that's late. For us East Coasters, that's late. So we'll see what's going on. But yeah, and then next week, he was in the chat earlier. Next week is a big week because our pal Josh Robinson and the little crew that we've assembled over there, we have the launch of The Hive, which is going to be a nice little hub where you have wrestling news, we have sports news, we have entertainment news, we have video game news. It's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. We have a great group of content creators that we've assembled over there. Yeah, you'll definitely see me on there a couple times a week at least. At some point, you might see this guy over there, maybe at some point. You never know. So it's the Hive Media on all social media platforms. Go follow that because I think we got some special stuff that's going to be coming. There's some really cool stuff that we got planned going on. Peggy is involved with that as well. My main squeeze, my other co-host Pluggo might be involved down the line as well. But we got a good group of people over there for that. So stay tuned to that. But give us a follow here at Love Wrestling because we got good shit every single week. we have Firmly Inc. with me and Drew. We got Between Two Beards with me and Pluggo. We got the brunch gimmick every Sunday with Lawrence and Spencer. We got Quizplex that just made its return Tuesday night with Zach hosting and Spencer. We have the independent show for Exposure with Pluggo, with Blair. We have LPW 37 coming up at the end of the month, and at the end of every month, we have great independent wrestling at
tomorrow.
LPW. That is tomorrow. That is tomorrow night. Stephen Crow, the new champion, baby. What we announced last week on Between Two Beards, Sinner and Saint are making their return at LPW 38. We also have another bombshell that we haven't dropped yet of someone coming to LPW 38. I'm telling you, this is the place you want to be. So give us a follow here, follow all of us here. But we've gone long today. We always go long, me and Drew. We like to chat. But until next week, you guys know the drill. For Drew, for myself, we appreciate you all very, very much. And until next week, we'll see you then. Peace out.